America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Great to have you with us as we start a new week of action, and we have beautiful weather on this Wednesday afternoon. Greg Wolf alongside. Four-time Major League All-Star Paul LoDuca. Great card today, and of course we have a $500,000 Pick 6 carryover starting in race 3.
Yeah, and the key part about it is with really Belmont, really the only action in town. 5 out of the 6 races in the Pick 6 are on the turf today with one baby race sandwiched in between. And it is a very, very tough sequence as we're getting ready for race number 1. We'll get to the one single that I think a lot of people will end up singling when we get to the Pick 6. That's going to be in race number 4, the outside horse for Chad Brown.
Yeah, Muda Katif for Chad Brown. State's debut just missed going a mile. Was really ranked early, keyed up in that race. Not going to cut back in distance. We get set for the early Pick 5 that starts right here. We have close to $250,000 in the pool. We started a mile and a 16th on the turf. New York bred, maiden special weight, and right now the inside runner for Jeremiah Engelhart, the one Wacky Pal, is favored.
Yeah, taking all the money. You know, horse second time out, going a mile and an 8th, did not do much at all. Was 8th by 15 lengths, but is getting played today at 2-1. You know, I thought the 9 was a good play here. Jimmy Jazz, who ran a good third last time. Castellano Sticks. And Alfalfa, everybody's favorite little rascal, is a 6 in here. Ran a bang-up race first time out. I get it for Maiden 40, but I thought that horse had a look. I'm surprised that the 1 is taking this much money.
Yeah, it seems like everybody liked Wacky Pal coming in here, opened as the favorite, and very cool early on in the wagering on the 5, the Chad Brown runner, making his 3-year-old return, but all of a sudden money start to come in now on the 5 just a little bit. There's Alfalfa. You just talked about the 6 loading up. Yeah, debuted against Easier. Ran very good. Now stepping up in class, and I'm with you. I thought Jimmy Jazz intriguing on the outside. Let's set it upstairs. Get this card started. Here's the voice of New York racing, Larry Collmus, with the opener from Belmont.
They're all in line. They're off. And it is Wacky Pal, an appointment out well. These two to set the pace with Alfalfa away running in 3rd position. Graded on a curve is next, and sent through on the inside is My Primo, now up into 4th. The trailers are Jimmy Jazz and Overlord. So onto the backstretch they go with Wacky Pal, the leader. Appointment a half length behind, running in 2nd. Alfalfa 3rd to the outside. And My Primo is down toward the hedge, running along in 4th. Just 2 lengths off the lead after a 24.44 quarter. And then it's Jimmy Jazz on the outside of Graded on a Curve, who's 5 lengths off the lead. Another 6 lengths more back to Overlord, who is unhurried in the initial stages. So up the backstretch they go. Wacky Pal up top, on top by a length over Appointment, and Alfalfa to the outside. My Primo continues to race on the hedge in 4th. 3 lengths off the lead, 48.53 for the half mile. Jimmy Jazz is 5th, within 3.5 lengths of the lead. Then Graded on a Curve and Overlord around the far turn. And it is Wacky Pal up top. Luis Saez and Wacky Pal, the leader, a half a length. Alfalfa comes up on the outside in 2nd. A length and a half back to Jimmy Jazz, who's 3 wide, running along in 3rd. And then My Primo to the inside as they make their way to the top of the stretch. Appointment Graded on a Curve, and Overlord still last but getting closer and swinging up on the far outside, and they're into the stretch. Jimmy Jazz comes after front-running Wacky Pal. Graded on a Curve is getting going to the outside of them, and then it's Overlord up into 4th. Now it's Jimmy Jazz and Graded on a Curve going by Wacky Pal, and Graded on a Curve under momentum to the front. Graded on a Curve by a neck. Jimmy Jazz 2nd, Wacky Pal 3rd, Overlord was 4th.
And how about that? Winds up going off as the post-time favorite. He was as high, I want to say, as 5-1 early on in the wagering. Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz Jr., Klarovich Stables. 3-year-old return for Graded on a Curve.
Yeah, you can see Jimmy Jazz make an early move on the far turn with Javier Castellano, but I thought he made the right move as he's going to circle, but then Graded on a Curve just followed him home and was able to go on by in a sort of like timely fashion, in a comfortable half a length here at the end. And you're right, ends up being your favorite at 2-1. Like we said, we could not figure out why the 1 was taking all that money, because a lot of people thought he'd be the lonely speed. He was, but doesn't mean you're going to stick.
So favorite is graded on a curve. 3-year-old son of Noble Mission gelded for his 3-year-old return to the races. Third, second, and then first. Third time the charm.
Well, listen, he's a New York bred by Noble Mission out of a street cry mare. And, you know, last time he lost to 6-5. And, you know, when the 9 took the lead at the top of the lane, you could see the graded on a curve was just waiting. But Jimmy Jazz was starting to get away. Castellano usually tough to go by, but when he went right-handed, his horse went in. And graded on a curve just went on by. And you could see Irad Ortiz Jr. had plenty left at the end of the race.
Once again, it is so tough to beat this barn. Chad
Right.
Brown does it again here. As graded on a curve. Late money. Finally moves to this horse. And your favorite kicks things off here on this Wednesday afternoon card.
Yeah, listen, like, it's Klarovich, it's Chad Brown, it's Irad Ortiz Jr. And sometimes you hit yourself in the head and you wonder, why do you throw these connections out? You don't. You just use them, and that's why, because they win races. Listen, I made a win bet on the 9. I thought I was home. But you're always worried about the Chad Brown horses. I backed it up with a nice little exacta, so I'm okay. But it's just unbelievable. And the unbelievable part about it is, of all of his horses, I would say 80% of them are just taught so well to rate and not give their rider a ton of problems and sit back. This is the first time gelding hasn't been out since September 2018. We're coming up to a year, and 1 in hand and 141-3. It's amazing the stuff that he does, Chad Brown. It really is.
Yeah, as impressive as the numbers are, which they're incredible, even when he gets beat, they improve all the time.
They do. They really do. And so you get a read on his horses, like after 5-6 races, if they haven't won, you just know they're not really that horse because he's that good. His horses sort of tell themselves. What you see in the form is what you get. And you know that they, like you said, they're going to improve with time. They're not going to regress at all with a layoff.
Track conditions, they're presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, pests gone. Races 2 through 8. We're going to bring the entire card this afternoon. And again, that pick 6 carryover, 500,000 plus in that pick 6 pool begins in race number 3 today. We are fast on the main track, firm on the turf course. As we'll set up the second here momentarily. Again, fast and firm for our Piranha Fly Spray track conditions, which I already read. Main track fast, turf firm. All right, how large is it? How much is going to be bet into this day? Get over 2 million?
Real quick, reading that Piranha Fly Spray, I tried to read it earlier. It's a tongue twister, so very well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Listen, like I said, with the only big league, and no disrespect to anybody else, big league track running in town, I would see 2.5 million, somewhere in that. Like I said, people love turf racing as well, and a nice little baby race in between.
$6.40 for the win with graded on a curve. Let's head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
I'm pleased to be joined by winning rider Irad Ortiz aboard graded on a curve. Irad, a horse you rode last year as a 2-year-old, but you got a little excited when you saw that first time gelding.
Yeah, first time gelding, and Chad always bring the horse ready. I mean, it was pretty easy. I just break and save some ground, and when I tip about in the straight, he just take off. I never hit him. I don't want to get too much out of him coming back from all that layoff, almost 10 months.
I was going to say, Irad, you got a lot of horse left at the line, too.
Yeah, I mean, he got a lot of horse. I never hit him. I just showed the whip, and he responded really well, so I don't want to use everything he have today.
A promising New York bred coming back, but a open horse that we're getting excited to see a little over a week away from the Stars and Stripes Festival. But you were aboard Newspaper Record, fitting that you're wearing the Klarovich silks as well. In her last work with Canberra Park, her main kind of stablemate rival, if you will, who turned the tables on her last time. I know you've been working on trying to get her to rate. With the work, you started off a half length behind. How did she respond to that?
She responded really well. In the morning, actually, before the last race, she was acting really good, too. And just in the afternoon, something that we don't expect, she was to rank. And this time the trainer do some change, and she worked really good. So let's see how that worked next time.
All right, excited to see her coming back next weekend. IRAD, congratulations here, though.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Well, newspaper of record, thank you, Maggie, was certainly one of the horses in any division we were most excited about seeing coming back during Oaks and Derby weekend, and that was a massive upset when she got beat that day. Thought she might have needed that race. She was a little rank early, and she gets beat again by her stablemate. So it's going to be really intriguing to see what happens at the Belmont Oaks Invitational.
It is. It's going to be very intriguing to see if she can get back to where she is, or if she's the same horse that we thought that she was going into this year. She's been disappointing in her 2 starts, but has she been disappointing? Or is she just been getting beat by better horses, or the other horses caught up to her? Remains to be seen, but I'm still not going to give up on her. She's only a 3-year-old.
She settle a little bit and not be as rank as she has been the last.
Needs to do.
Or keyed up early, trying to get to the lead in those last couple of races. We will find out on July the 6th in the Belmont Oaks Invitational. H-Man, he's reeled off 3 in a row, and he could have the lead all to himself. We'll set up the second when we come back. And Mattress Mac compared the great sprinter, Runhappy. Mac was all in our thoughts last night after a medical scare. We'll share his story and chat with Mr. Runhappy himself when we come back.
Our summer cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. Our plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NYRABets.com.
Warfront, a leading sire on all surfaces and all fronts. His recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach, Helmsman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy Flag, plus Preakness Stakes winner War of Will. And these recent group and graded winners. Sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018, this son of Danzig continues to dominate both on the track and in the sales ring. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races, our show each and every day. As you know by now, brought to you by the champion sprinter, Runhappy, who never lost during the course of his career while sprinting, and he did it all while racing medication-free. Clips Award winner as champion sprinter. And now he's standing at stud in his new home, their legendary stall number 1 at Claiborne Farm for $25,000.
Yeah, he's one of the few horses that you could point to about 3 or 4 races. His debut race, still one of the best debut races I've ever seen. His King's Bishop, now the Allen Jerkins, and then obviously his Breeders' Cup Sprint, running down a very, very stubborn horse. Those 3 races, just, you're always going to remember those 3, and I always remember him just running around in his nice little digs he has there. He is very Runhappy.
Campaigned, yeah, perfect name for him. Campaigned, of course, by Jim Mattress Mac McInville, who suffered a mini stroke earlier this week. He went to St. Luke's Hospital, Texas Medical Center, really as a precautionary measure. He reported having some tingling in his arm, leg, and face. Wanted to make sure that nothing at all was wrong. So we were definitely all thinking about him the other night. We're going to chat with him in a moment. But, of course, throughout Mattress Mac's life, as much as it's been about being a successful businessman, it has also been about giving back.
In 1983, I was doing television commercials. I was desperate. I reached in my pocket, pulled the money out, and said, Gallery Furniture will save you money.
Save you money! Save you money! Saves you money! Save you money! Money!
Well, I needed a job, and I'd been a furniture store salesman in Dallas, and I knew there was a lot of opportunity in Houston in the early 80s, so I came to here, my wife and I did, with $5,000 and a dream. Zany ads we've always done, trying to break through the clutter and get people to notice us. Chuck Norris, real memorable. Everybody loves Chuck. Joe Piscopo, lots of baseball, football players, but the best co-star I ever had was President Bush doing those Bush Clinton tsunami ads, and we raised about $15 million here in Houston for the Bush Clinton tsunami funds. My parents always taught us that the essence of living is giving, and that we all have responsibility for the well-being of the community. So to me, it just comes naturally, and my wife is the same way, and we've been doing the Christmas dinners for many years. We do a 30 house full of furniture giveaway every year, and we encourage people whose friends, neighbors, relatives, people at church, people at school that had a hard time to write us a letter and tell us about their needy situation. So we get thousands of letters. Now it's morphed into emails, of course, but thousands of emails every year about people that need help. Yeah, you know, after Katrina, that people were evacuating New Orleans especially, and we put a sign on the marquee out here that says Louisiana residents sleep here for free, and we had a couple hundred people sleep here for a couple of nights, and it turned out fine.
Mac on the phone a few minutes ago. He is in front of the store right now watching the warehouse burn down.
It was Memorial Day 10 years ago now, and the entire warehouse, $20 million worth of furniture, burned up in about an hour and a half. And it was a tough time. People thought we were going to close. But, you know, tough times never last. Tough people do. So with our support of our great employees and the customers, we had a little small store down in the Galleria area. We opened the next morning and kept going, never looked back. Harvey was devastating for Houston and so many Houstonians. 50 to 70 inches of rain, enough water to fuel Niagara Falls for 21 days straight. 500,000 cars in Harris County, this county totaled. And so it was just a body blow to all of us. But the best thing about Harvey was it brought us all together. And for a brief moment in time, we didn't worry about right-wing politics or left-wing politics. All we worried about was taking care of people. So people sleeping everywhere on couches, mattresses, and eating on top of the dining room tables. And out of hardships, again, came some really good things, and we learned how to love one another even more. And it was great for all of us in Houston to band together and get through it together. If I have any celebrity, it's from being more of a person that hopefully people can count on when they have a tough time, and that's who I want to be known as a person who doesn't look after only themselves, but my wife looks out for other people, and hopefully I do as well.
Jim McIngvale, known as Mattress Mac, been such an important part of our show and why we're able to bring this show to you each and every day. He joins us on the phone right now. Mac, I know you're everyone concerned in the city of Houston about your welfare, of course, your racing family as well. Tell us how you're doing, how you're feeling right now.
Greg and Paul, thanks for having me on. I'm doing pretty good. I'm walking down the hallway right now to take a stress test, so I'm going to do a little 3 furlong breeze and see how I'm doing.
So you have your sense of humor a little bit. Mattress Mac, you were talking about maybe it was going to be a 6 furlong breeze. Now it's down to a 3 furlong breeze. Hopefully when you pass the stress test, are you going to be able to go home?
I'm to pass the stress test. Doctors look at the results, and if all the boxes are checked, then I'll be able to go home. I can go back to work and make some more money so I can advertise the great Runhappy on NYRA.
Well, we talk about Runhappy so much on this show. We're so excited to see what is going to happen with him at the sales this summer, certainly with his offspring next year. And we have to talk about this a little bit because next year there's this tremendous promotion with a Runhappy. If you win an open company maiden race at Saratoga, $100,000 bonus coming your way. So that should help generate a lot of interest with these young Runhappies.
Yeah, we're real excited about Runhappy. He's a great racehorse, and you know, raced his entire career on hails and water, no drugs, no injections, no Lasix. I think that's very important in today's, racing climate. So he's been very well received by the great breeders, and excited about the breeders and the co-signers showing the Runhappies at Paddock-Tipton in July in Kentucky, and of course Paddock-Tipton in Saratoga in your backyard coming up next month. So should be an exciting time for Runhappy, and we're just very proud to be associated with NYRA and be able to showcase this wonderful horse to the United States and to the entire world.
Jim, is this a proud moment for you, almost like a older son? And are you going to be able, and are you going to want to track every single Runhappy that runs every day? Like pick up the racing form and see which ones are in and basically root all your children home?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're looking forward to, and hopefully he'll get off to a fast start and pass on his speed, his mental prowess, and his incredible lung capacity to his progeny. And if he does, then he'll be a great stallion like he was a great racehorse. So thanks to all the breeders who support him and all the co-signers and the people that have helped Runhappy over the years. And now it's time for his horses to do the talking. It's coming up real quick. Very exciting.
We're excited as well. We can't thank you enough for the support you've given this show over the past few years. You're not even out of the hospital yet, and you're already talking to us on the phone. What a trooper. We appreciate you coming on. We wish you a speedy recovery and hope everything is okay with you.
Thanks, Greg and Paul. I really enjoy your show. I'm walking into this stress test, and if I get the breeze today, I'll give you a call back.
Sounds good.
Right, we hope so.
Get the bullet tree. Get the bullet breeze. Get the bullet breeze.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks a lot, Mac. Jim McInvale, of course, campaign Runhappy, and they're going to be going through the sales this summer. We're going to see him at the auctions at Saratoga, and then next year we're going to see him on the racetrack. Great to know that he is okay. Sounds like he's in great spirits, but he had said it was really just more of a precaution than anything. Better to be safe than sorry.
No, it is, and it's good news. And like you said, his energy level, talking to us before the interview, he's just got so much gusto. I love it.
All right, the second here at Belmont Park, it is 6 furlongs, New York breds in an allowance optional claiming race, and it is all about the 1-5 favorite. H-Man, he has reeled off 3 in a row. He is in the best form of his life for Jason Service. With more, let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
And it shows here, Greg, as H-Man is your prohibitive favorite. He has every right to be, at least from my vantage point here in the paddock. He is stout, he's robust, he's carrying his weight, much like his confidence on the top of the world. I mean, he just looks great, relative especially to this field. So we'll take a look at another horse who's down on the inside, though. That's number 1, Ready to Escape. Now, last time he tried the turf, and I know you guys have a pretty telling stat about Chris Englehart with the surface change, but 2, his shoes were different. He was actually, and I don't tend to pay that much attention to shoes, but he either had Equilux or he had glue on shoes last time, and it's not the case this time around. He actually just has one that's 3/4, and they're pretty much regular shoes. They're nailed into his foot, and also, he's a lot more revved up than he was last time out. He does have sometimes trouble getting out of the gate, but that doesn't seem the case anymore when he's switched to the Englehart barn. He looks as though he should be quick out of there here once again. So he's, like I said, I'll pay attention to how he behaves out on the racetrack, but guys, he got really revved up here in the paddock. Definitely the sharpest horse of any of them in here.
Maggie, thanks. I mean, he is the really intriguing runner in this race. Obviously, we all see H-Man. He's 1-5 on the board, and he is for a reason. But Ready to Escape, he has some races you can go back to that if he can repeat those, they're better than anything H-Man's run.
No, I get what you're saying. Blinkers went on for Charlie Baker on February 10th, and he ran a giant number that's as good as H-Man, and then he came right back with it. Now, he went to Chris Englehart barn. He didn't run well in his first start on dirt. They tried him on the turf. He actually ran in the Runhappy. And maybe you can just draw a line through that turf effort, and he's going to be a lot fitter and better today. He's the main danger. And I mean, the 2, Cecilia Mike, is going to run second or third in this race. Like, if the 1 doesn't fire, this race runs 3-2 cold.
So here is H-Man and Cecilia Mike when they faced off June 7th. H-Man did all the work up front. After basically the opening quarter, he was neck and neck with Binkster and still pulls away to win this race. Binkster winds up beaten for third as Cecilia Mike comes up and picks up some pieces off a hot pace. But H-Man did all the work in this race.
Exactly, and that's why it's a perfect 3-2 exact if you don't like the 1. And H-Man, bred by Eric Fine, named after his son Harris. His nickname, the H-Man, Harris Fine.
Here's our post parade. We start off with Ready to Escape. So he came back in the Runhappy against Firenze Fire. Then he tried turf. This will be the 3rd off the bench.
Like you said, got a couple back races that would give H-Man all he can handle, but he's got to get back to him.
A lot of seconds. Maybe a horse to complete your exacta here. Cecilia Mike, 14 seconds and 38 starts. We're going to see him in a moment here at 6-1 on the board. There he is.
Oh, I like the handler bringing out the hat, maybe the lucky hat. But if you do not like the 1, go up to the window and play as many kind of exact as you can. 3-2. This horse likes to run a lot of seconds. 14 seconds and 38 starts.
3 in a row and 4 out of 5 for H-Man. He is on some kind of roll.
7-year-old gelding by Musket Man, 13 for 57. and you're right on a roll. 500,000 in the bank.
Show Prince at 13-1 on the board for Gary Siaka.
I thought a good win last time, Wolfie. You know, off the pace a little bit. This horse has got 2 wins, both of them on a sloppy racetrack. The other races on fast are okay. At least the first 2 starts were.
And O'Shea, can you see, will complete the field. Tom Morley off the claim.
This horse ran a bang-up race last time out, and now it gets claimed by Tom Morley. You get Benjamin Hernandez in the iron. 7-1 is not awful. He was the other horse I thought that can maybe close up into the pieces if H-Man was to fall apart.
If there's a concern with the favorite, I'll say this. At least during the win streak, he's won 3 in a row now. This is the shortest time coming back he's had during that streak.
That's true. Yeah, it is the shortest time. He's coming back. His last race was June 7th. A lot of these other runners have had to at least May, although, like you said, Cecilia Mike was in that last race to H-Man where they did run 1-2, but I just predict that they might run 1-2 again.
Get signed up, get started, play along with NYRA Bets. Get a $200 new member bonus when you use the promo code LIVE at sign up and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to NYRABets.com. We're going to take a break in the action. It's all about that one right there, the 3-horse H-Man. Can he make it 4 in a row? He could be the one to catch up front as well. We'll be back.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase. He won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop has arrived. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NYRABets.com.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearly manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. We have a pick 4 coming up. We're approaching the 3-minute mark to post in race 2 at 6 furlongs, a 2-5 favorite. The 3-horse H-Man trying to reel off 4 in a row. This horse may be trying to spring the upset. He's faced him each of his last 2 starts, and he has not been able to get close. With more, let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Yeah, Greg, I'm never one to necessarily recommend a 2-for-38 lifetime horse, but Cecilia Mike, as you guys were pointing out, he likes to fill out the exactas and tries, and really watching him on the track, he was the one that appealed to me most as far as filling out that exacta spot. He warmed up solo beneath Jose Ortiz, moving beautifully. Look at it. I mean, just really pointing his toes, has a lovely bounce to his stride. Physically, overall, looks great here. He was the one that instilled the most confidence in me here for Gary Siaka. He'll send out too, as he also has recent allowance winner Show Prince as he jumps into this condition for the first time. But yeah, Cecilia Mike, maybe he'll get another second. That would be his 15th overall.
Maggie, thanks. And, you know, in terms of how this race is going to play out early on in here, H-Man went to the front last time out. His prior 2 wins, we didn't see that from him. He has the quickness, though, to be all alone in this race. You would think he's got to try and use that speed here, right?
I would think so. He's got 44 and change type speed. There's nobody else in here. Ready to Escape has shown back in the day 45 and 1 speed if he can get back to it. It's between those two early, and Show Prince, the 4, has shown speed against lesser, but that's like 46 and change type of speed. So, no, and H-Man's been able to finish, especially on slower paces. The only thing that can get him beat if he gets left, but he's been left a couple times, and he still won. He got left 2 back, and he still beat this same kind of field.
Well, and he had a vicious pace duel with Binkster, as we talked about in that last start. It didn't matter. He opened up. He won by 3 3/4 in that race, despite very hot fractions up front, neck and neck with that horse, who wound up fading to 4th. Ready to Escape, we both think this is the horse who's the danger. He was in over his head on the return race in the Runhappy against Firenze Fire. Then he tried turf for the first time in his career, so back. You want to say back to his friends, but now you're facing a monster in H-Man.
Yeah, but he possesses at least some early speed that could keep him close to H-Man in case H-Man goes to the front. He sits a nice little trip on the inside with Irad Ortiz Jr. Now, O'Shea, can you see, is going to do it differently for Tom Morley off the claim. He'll probably sit back, make 1 run. He gets bumped up for 40, so it gets a little vote of confidence from Tom. He's probably doing well in the morning, and if you look, he was second to H-Man at 46 to 1, 2 back. He actually split and beat Cecilia Mike. So he's not completely out of the question to run into this exacta.
1 to 2 favoritism. And a horse who was probably singled in 99.9% of the pick 5s that were played and pick 4s. Looks awfully tough to beat.
Yeah, and a good job by Marty Panza to keep this horse out of the pick 6. We won't have an odds-on favorite. I wouldn't think so. The pick 6 looks tough today, but you know, you want to try to keep these horses. I know people love the free square, but you also want to make it a little tough for the players.
On 4, you were just looking at, that was Show Prince. He comes in off a win. That was on a sloppy racetrack. Horse who was right behind him, this horse right here, would come back and win next time out. And you go a few starts back, he actually hung in there against Blind Willie McTell, who was going to try the turf for the first time this weekend, was scratched late at the last minute for Linda Rice, but has proven to be exceptional in the dirt against New York breds.
Yeah, Smoky Platinum came back to win. He beat him. Thorny Tail was in that race, actually stayed in that race and showed good speed and did not run that bad actually on the turf that day. So comes out of a couple live races. Gary Siaka having a very good meet. And this Gelding My Posse's really never run a bad race, Wolfie. You're right. Even at 30 to 1 first time out, ran a bang-up second with Dylan Davis, gets Eric Cancel in the irons today. So I wouldn't be surprised. But like you said, when you have a horse that has 13 wins in the bank and 500,000 and is now looking for 4 in a row, and you got to speculate like a horse like the 5 that hasn't won a race all year.
7-year-old, though, who again coming back off his shortest rest during this win streak. At some point,
will the
streak come to an end?
At some point, yeah, I understand. At 12, he was a 12-5 claimer at one time. I get it.
We'll see what happens here. He could dictate things awfully early in the front end. Could be alone with Jose Lezcano. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown. Here's Larry Collmus.
They're off. Show Prince hustled out of there. And ready to escape on the inside. H-Man between those two. These 3 with the most early foot. And then it's Cecilia Mike and O'Shea Can You See as they head up the backstretch and move for the turn. It is Ready to Escape, a narrow lead to the favorite H-Man. Show Prince is out there, 3 deep, running in third by 2.5. Cecilia Mike is fourth and under pressure to keep up. And it's a 5-length gap back to the trailer. O'Shea Can You See. 22:38 that opening quarter mile for Ready to Escape, who has H-Man breathing down his neck on the outside midway on the far turn. Show Prince is 3 deep, running in third position. Cecilia Mike continues to race in behind them with 2 lengths to make up, but getting closer as they come toward the top of the stretch. Cecilia Mike trying to find a way through here as they turn for home. H-Man's under pressure outside of Ready to Escape. Cecilia Mike comes up to the outside of them, and at the 8th pole, these 3 are all right together. Inside Ready to Escape, H-Man between. Cecilia Mike on the outside. Cecilia Mike to the front. Ready to escape second, H-Man has backed off to third. Cecilia Mike and Jose Ortiz by 3. Ready to escape second, H-Man and O'Shankin, you see fourth.
Cecilia Mike, 2 for 38 coming in. 5-1 is going to play a whole lot bigger than that in all the multi-race wagers.
Yeah, 1 for 19 the last 2 years, now 2 for 20, but the 3 H-Man could just never put away the 1 ready to escape, and Cecilia Mike just sat there in a perfect position, especially when the 4 went away in right around the far turn here, Show Prince. Cecilia Mike was just able to sit there and wait, and Jose Ortiz had a ton of horse, 108 and change, and he went by these horses pretty easily for a horse that's only won a couple times in that many starts, but congratulations to the connections. Now 3 for 39 lifetime.
5-1 might play more like 10 or 15-1.
Yeah, easy.
In this pick 5. And you knew you were probably in trouble early when H-Man was out quick to the front by Ready to Escape.
Yeah, Ready to Escape outbroke him and went right to the front, and NYRA Ortiz Jr. usually saves a lot for the end, and you could tell that Jose Lezcano was pushing on H-Man, and then he settled on him, but when he asked him to go, he just never really got to the neck at all to Ready to Escape, and when he did, Cecilia Mike was just waiting.
Cecilia Mike springs the upset here in race 2. We'll be back with the prices. And we have the first leg of a $500,000 pick 6 carryover. That is coming up next. We'll set the stage, talk about some key races in the sequence when we come back on America's Day at the Races.
Runhappy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Runhappy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Runhappy standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NYRABets.com.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearling. And this year, his juveniles have sold up to $375,000. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races. Race number 2 in the books, and a bit of an upset as we saw Cecilia Mike getting to the wire first. It doesn't happen often, but pleased to be standing here with his trainer, Gary Siak. I mean, Gary, when they drew this race, you had to be slightly encouraged by the way the pace looked to set up.
Yeah, I was hoping the 1 would break because the 1's been breaking slow, so I was kind of hoping he would go with him. Somebody was going to run with him, which it did. They ended up going 40, they ended up rolling down the front end there, and somebody had to run with H-Man and beat him. He don't lose no more, so I'm glad he got beat today. I told Mike in the paddock, the guy next to you, we got to beat him, Mike.
well, he certainly responded well, and a horse that he likes to pick up checks, but he's honest.
Win, but he loves the good. He's right there every time.
I certainly love those honest ones, Gary. Well done here in getting through this condition.
Maggie, thank you.
All right, guys. Cecilia Mike, well, he's got his 3rd race, a win of his career, 3 for 39.
All those seconds, usually just picks up some pieces. Not today. He gets his picture taken for just the 3rd time in his career.
Yeah, congratulations to Cecilia Mike. Girolamo, out of a Tiznow mare, Song of Broadway. Jose Ortiz and Gary Siaka, 3 for 39 lifetime. That double comes back $44. And like you said, if you had this horse in your pick 5, it's a good horse to have.
We're already up and over $1 million in the pick 6 for this afternoon with a $500,000 carryover coming in. It starts in this race right here. Third at Belmont's a mile and a 16th on the inner turf. $40,000 claiming race. And right now it's Harv Won't Tap off the claim for Robert Falcone Jr. with Joel Rosario, who's favored.
Very difficult race to start off the pick 6. There's no really confirmed front runner in here. Who's going to go to the front? Is it going to be Applicator? Is it going to be Shalako on the outside? Mobridge was monstrous last time out. As you can see, the tote board is already telling you the first leg of this pick 6. Heavy pick 6 is going to be tough.
2-1, 5-1 right now separates this entire field. Might want some coverage in this first leg coming up. So where do you try and pare down and find some key races? Well, for a lot of people, that might come first up in race number 4. Remuda Katif for trainer Chad Brown made his States debut at a mile at Gulfstream. He was really keyed up early in that race. He wanted to go. Javier Castellano wanted to try and get him to settle. Eventually would, but we'll see if he can calm down early a little there, or if he wants to send him to the front.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. This is a horse that did debut as a sprinter over in Newbury and Haydock over at Great Britain, and Chad Brown debuted the horse here in North America at Gulfstream Park going a mile, and the horse was rank early, very, very rank, like Greg was saying, and sort of, Javier did whatever he could to try to slow the son of acclamation down, and it just was not happening, and he's going to get out-bobbed here towards the end. He's going to lose the race by about a head, and I can understand why they're turning him back in sprinting, thinking, okay, let's just let him roll from the start, and he won't be rank, and he should be up close, especially off this long of a layoff. I understand they went 24 and change in 49. He's going to be ready to roll, but can he stay close enough to a couple of these horses in here that are very, very fast early?
Well, even though he got beat too in that race, and he had all those problems, horse who did go by him, he beat the rest of that field. It's a horse who's reeled off 3 in a row for Todd Pletcher, all on turf, so he has some talent. So he should be a short price and the one to beat in that 4th race. 5th race, mile and 16th on the inner turf, $50,000 maiden claiming race. We're going to take a look at Crypto Gold. Whiskey Is My Wine. They went head-to-head back on May the 11th, and Crypto Gold winds up shutting off the 3-horse here, Quality Choice, into the stretch. He does finish with a lot of run, and on the lead is Whiskey Is My Wine. He would fade here, but that was his first out effort.
Yeah, watch the horse on the inside, cut that horse off right there. That was for the takedown right there. As you can see, the 3 had to steady a tiny bit. Eric Hansel had a ton of horse. He really did. Now, most of the times, these horses come back after they've been disqualified out of a win, like the 8 Crypto Gold. They usually don't come back to win, but I like this horse. I think he's going to be very tough. But I also think AI Initiative, the 2, is a horse you have to use in your pick 6. A horse that's been running pretty well at this condition, but they do need to beat Crypto Gold. And Jose Ortiz does stick on the 10, Whiskey Is My Wine.
Yeah, who should be, you would think, a little more fit second time out. We'll see if he tries to set the tone early again here in his second out effort. 7th race at 6 furlongs sprinting on the turf. New York bred entry-level allowance race. And Sadie Lady, the 9-horse in here. Joel Rosario will be back aboard. He was on board back in that last out effort, June the 1st. Tried to go gate to wire. Got a little tired late today, the 3rd off the layoff.
Well, there's a big scratch in this race of Silencia, who is going to be some pace in the race. And what ended up happening is now you have Quest Tech, who could be the lone speed, or Sadie Lady. Sadie Lady gets run down here. Now, Quest Tech is the type of horse that is 1 for 25 on the turf, but when you look at the numbers, she is right there. So is Sadie Lady. I think the 10 Jaded Lady is a good horse to look at as well. The sneaky horse in this race is the 11. Do not leave off the 11. Summer squeeze off your tickets. If there's a lot of pace and a meltdown in this race, Mark Hennig and Rajiv Mirage, that's the horse that's going to be closing late.
And it all concludes with the 8th race. Another turf sprint. New York Breds, $40,000 maiden claiming race. And Gunboat Diplomacy, a horse that will be 3rd off the bench this afternoon. She, the 6, drops in for a tag for the very first time, and she'll make an equipment change of blinkers off for Bruce Brown.
Yeah, she gets Jose Ortiz, who we saw just won The last race, Irad Ortiz Jr., he'll ride the 7th. But Gumbo Diplomacy was good too back. At Aqueduct ran a decent 3rd. Now it's going to take the blinkers off. Fusi, is that how we're saying, or Fusai?
Fusi, I believe.
The 3 is probably going to get played off a decent 3rd place finish at Penn National. My sneaky horse in this race is Youth Gone Wild, the 5. This horse has got a back number that would beat this field very, very easily with Benji Hernandez. I think this horse has got a big look. That's Youth Gone Wild. I think in a wide open race in the last 2 as well. So
yeah, 0 for 17 on the turf for Youth Gone Wild, but just ran 2nd against Nazay. That's a Jimmy Bond horse. He's having a terrific meet. That horse would actually come back off that maiden win and run 3rd, first time in against winners, against 30 non-winners at 2 Lifetime. You were brave. You put together a pick 6 ticket here, cost to $96.
Yeah, I try to stay under $100. 478 in here to start it off. Probably should have used Mr. Maybe in here, the 3, but I like my plays in here. I like Harvey Won't Tap. Race number 4, I'm going to single Katif, I think that's how you say it. Race number 5, 2, 8, 9, and 10. I like AI Initiative. I would maybe single the 2 if I was going to do another ticket. Race number 6, I think everybody's going to look at the first-time starters. They paid $250,000 for a Bayern in the 1 in race number 6 for Rudy Rod, who showed speed. Blinkers go on today. Look for that horse, try to go gate to wire. Race number 7, like Jaded Lady, and I like the 11, like I said, Summer Squeeze. And then in the last race, Fusi or Fusai. And then Youth Gone Wild, yeah. 0 for 17 on the turf, not today, 1 for 18.
We'll see what happens. We just had a horse who was, what, 2 for 38? Breakthrough. Pick 6, it is 18 minutes away. We'll have a post-break when we come back. This horse right here might be a single on a lot of tickets. Muda Katif in the 4th race for Chad Brown.
Eclipse champion Blaine was considered by many as the breakout stallion of 2018. His top runners included Grade 1 winner and Eclipse Award finalist Marley's Freedom, plus Grade 1 winner Fault, and graded stakes winners Morale, Beyond Blaine, Miss Kentucky, and Blaine. This year, his 2-year-olds have sold up to $700,000. Outstanding results, outstanding value. Blaine, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearly manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So first we have a colt out of Rapid Repair. He's a really nice colt. Very happy with how he's come along as a yearling. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Whether you have Derby dreams or midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there.
Diversify!
That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Back on America's Day at the Races, our show brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. $500,000 carryover in the pick 6. We're at $1.4 million and growing. First leg coming up. Just about 16 minutes or so. Let's get a paddock report from Maggie Wolfendale.
And guys, here in this race, we'll take a look at your current favorite. That is first off the claim in here, number 7, Harv Won't Tap, as he'll make his first start for Rob Falcone. And he's like many of the horses in here that are dropping out of or coming out of that May 19th race. Same condition, going the mile and a 16th, in which Abiding Star, he got loose in the lead. And when Abiding Star does that, he tends to win, especially when he's in for a tag. As looking at Harv Won't Tap, I thought he ran okay. He did have a lot to do, and considering it was dominated towards the front end, he ran fine. But he's not a horse that I'm ever going to be drawn to physically. He's very kind of one-sided. He's not a robust individual by any means. He looks fine for who he is, but I just thought there were more interesting options in here at bigger prices. And I actually am siding with number 4, Applicator. He's the one who was right up on the pace, kind of with Abiding Star, got shuffled back a bit, and then stayed on gamely, I thought. And going back 2 starts ago, I was surprised he won that day. He probably prevailed on class for Brad Cox, who is very dangerous, don't get me wrong, but he was washy. He just didn't look like a fit horse. And now, 3rd off of that layoff, he looks great. I mean, he's one that does carry his weight well, but he's so much more defined. Everything is where it needs to be. He's tucked up, he's solid looking. He looks great here in the paddock for Rudy Rodriguez, and I like Applicator here, as we'll take a look at number 8, Shalako, who is finally kind of pairing races back to back here, and he actually looks a little bit more tucked up than he did in that last start, in which I liked him. He was my pick that day, but I think being away from the races as he was, he is a heavier type, so therefore he needs to race into fitness a bit, and he looks super once again. He's dappled head to toe, he's quietly confident, nicely on the bridle. Him and Applicator are my 2, at least here in the paddock from a visual standpoint. Greg?
Maggie, thank you. There's Shalako, 5-1 on the board for Michelle Nevin. Rematch with Mr. Maybe and Applicator. He was behind each of those 2, but we'll see if today is a different story as we take a look at Mobridge, who has been around for a long time, the 9-year-old, way back when. Used to be with Bill Mott, was actually named after where he grew up, and now with Mertcan Cantermasi, and just recently claimed. And here's a look at that barn on turf over the last 5 years, is 1 for 20.
I don't know. Don't really care about the stacks. I just know that Merktan's got the best hair on the backside.
Yeah, he does.
Next to Asmussen. It's pretty close. But he's been doing well, Merktan really has. He's been claiming these horses. He raised this horse up for 40. Now, I know under Mobridge got a good trip last time, but he did it very easily.
That was against an easier group. It was New York bred 25. This is open 40. And he's up there at 9 years old now, but he can run some big ones.
Yes.
Every once in a while. As we take a look at Harv Won't Tap, and Robert Falcone Jr. just claimed this horse. So here's that barn, first off the claim in turf over the last 5 years. From 18 starters, 33% win rate.
He does such a good job, does Robert Falcone Jr., as you can see just from that stat. Obviously being Captain Obvious. The issue that you have with the 7, Harvey Won't Tap, 1 for 13 the last 2 years, and look what the win was by. A nose 2 starts ago. So, I mean, this horse is a bob away from being 0 for 13, and currently now is your favorite. So do you really want to take that right now at 5-2? And here's the other part. He comes from so far out of it, usually 9-10 lengths, and usually from the way back in the pack.
There's the old 9-year-old, proving he still has plenty left in the tank with that win last time out. That was June 14th here at Belmont. 85 Beyer when he blew that field away by 5+ lengths. As we look at the horse who'll be next door to him, Mr. Maybe, 8-year-old son of Ghost Sapper, who's a 2-time winner at Belmont.
Yeah, 17 years between the 2 and the 3. This one, 8, like you were saying. Mobridge 9. What a beautiful gray he is. 6 for 34, 2 for 12 here at Belmont. His race 2 back at a mile 16th at this level. He was right there at 23-1. He beat Applicator. He was second. I thought it was a good run at 4-1. His last race, he was bumped up in competition. And he had probably too much to do in a slowish pace, and he ran on and did his thing. You know, he usually is the type of horse, again, as pace dependent, needs pace to run into. but just looks beautiful in the paddock like he always does.
And he is dropping in class. That was a tough group he was up against last time. Third off the layoff for him as well. I thought he'd be tough here at 4-1.
No, I'm with you. And he's a type of horse, like I said, that these type of horses, the 2 and the 3, they need pace to run into, but if they get the right trip, now you have the 4 applicators. This is the horse that goes to the front end. Churchill Downs on September 14th of 2018 showed some pace, went to the front end, has laid off some other fractions before in March. Last time at Belmont, was up close to the pace. So that's why I use applicator in for the 40, because I think that Castellano's going to send and play catch me if you can.
There again, your ticket, pick 6 pool, an additional $1 million has already been bet into this, so 1.5 plus and growing with plenty of time to go until the gates open for our first leg of the sequence.
Yes, plenty of time. As you look at the 4 applicator, now the 6 we're going to show you next, Golden Spear for Steve Claceris. He was claimed out of the Bobby but DeBono barn, who was brave enough to take a horse out of the Jorge Navarro barn, but this horse has been in a lot of good barns. Norman McKnight and has always run well. And 2 starts ago, won at Gulfstream Park, brought here to Belmont, and was behind Mr. Maybe, behind Applicators. You're still taking a look at the 4. We'll get you the 6 here in a second. But the 6 had issues at the beginning, bobbled at the start, and that could have taken away his late punch. So could you give this horse, the Ontario bred, a little bit of a shot here?
I think everyone deserves a shot in this race.
Yeah.
There is, and the board reflects it. But yeah, came here to Belmont from Gulfstream. That certainly compromised his chances, that poor start, and with a clean beginning.
Could he be
this horse in the past has shown the ability to be on the lead and be up front.
Exactly. He's one of the other ones. We showed you the 7. Now when you go to the 8, Chalaco, I liked him because I looked at it and went, okay, he could go to the front. So you have the ability, maybe the 8, Chalaco, the 6th horse on your screen, Golden Spear, or Applicator, have all shown races where they've actually been in front for the first quarter of a mile. Now what gives today, we'll see what happens. Jose Ortiz, Irad Ortiz, or Castellano, who takes the initiative, or does somebody else? That's why the board is so wide open. 6-1 is your longest shot, and that's Golden Spear.
This race is an absolute head scratcher. If Muda Katif does not win the 4th, that race is wide open. I thought the 5th was wide open. 6, you have a bunch of basically first-time starters, a couple who've started, but you don't know what you're going to get from them.
Yeah, and in the 4th, Colonel Tom has been working lights out in the morning. Ran 101 in change at Saratoga for George Weaver. I know he's not great off layoffs, but he's a lot of people like that horse a little bit to maybe upset the Chad Brown runner if you were going to go deep. But then where do you single somewhere else? I don't know. To be honest with you, there really is no singles. Even if you try to get to the last race and you're thinking, okay, there's going to be somebody there.
No.
The favorite in the last race, I would say, is going to be 4-1, somewhere in that area.
Could be, yeah. Just
So
a
that makes it so
difficult
difficult,
sequence.
Yes.
Good luck. Get some friends together and try and get that ticket to get a little more coverage, because this is difficult.
Yeah, and that's why the pool is going to grow. It's 1.5 right now, 1.6. The next flash you'll see. That's why I thought after all the churn, 2.5 might get up to 3 million here, and that'd be just outstanding. But like I said, this is still a tough sequence. I think this is a sequence where you're going to see a lot of $9 to $10 winners sprinkled with one bomb, and hopefully you can find that bomb.
Here comes our post parade to kick off this group here in race 3. Again, a mile and a 16th on the inner turf course. And the way it's structured here, not easy to be on the outside here when the gates open. Here's Mobridge, the old 9-year-old, coming off a big win against Easier now in a new barn.
He was giant last time, he really was. So can he transfer with the rise in class to 40 in a new barn?
Mr. Maybe, he drops down in class for John Toscano Jr. Luis Saez aboard.
Like I said, 2 for 12 over the Belmont turf. His race 2 starts back in this condition at 23-1. He was right there.
Applicator, he won for Open 25 at Aqueduct back in April, and then 3rd for 40 most recently here at Belmont.
Yeah, and does he show early speed? We'll see if Castellano sends the son of Henry the Navigator.
Golden Spear, We'll see next here. And there's the 6 horse, 7-year-old son of Bluegrass Cat for Steve Glaceris.
Yeah, claim from the Bobby DeBono barn, brought here, even race, but had a trouble beginning. Maybe a better beginning will help his chances today.
Harv Won't Tap, the 71 at Tampa, 2 starts back, and then he was behind Mr. Maybe and Applicator in that Belmont effort.
He'll probably be dead last in this short field of 6 horses, but look for him late.
Yeah, look out for that best finishing rider aboard him, and Joel Rosario, always dangerous off the pace. And here is Shalako from the outside, Michelle Nevin, Jose Ortiz.
I think Jose Ortiz has to push from the outside, especially with the 7s, the type of horse that's going to drop down. The 6 and the 4 are the other speeds in here. Does he try to go to the front end or draft off the 4 and 6? Me, I'm hoping he sends.
$1.75 million in the pick 6 for this Wednesday afternoon, when had a $500,000 carryover coming in, and a very difficult first leg to try and sort things out. Let's head downstairs, check in for the first time this afternoon with Richard Migliore.
Thanks, Greg, and it's absolutely beautiful day. A little bit warm for this suit. And also, when I look at horses warming up on a warm day like this, we always make so much of horses sweating. And you want to see a horse get a sweat on today. That means their coolant system is working properly, that they're actually more comfortable than a horse that doesn't sweat. That's a problem on warm days. So don't feel like it's a negative if you see a horse sweating up a little bit, not lathering up, but sweating up a little bit. A horse that really caught my eye from a physical perspective is number 8, Shalako. This Michelle Nevin trainee just looks absolutely outstanding on the racetrack. This horse possesses enough speed to put himself into the race without being forced into the race from the outside. And I tell you what, he was so dappled out. His coat had that really rich texture I look for. It tells me he's hydrated, important on these hot days as well. And from a physical perspective, I could not get past number 8, Shalako. The 4, Applicator, very logical horse. Also make a nice impression from the Rudy Rodriguez barn. Looked terrific. Like the way he left the pony. I like horses to warm up. And again, lends itself to what I'm saying. You want to see a horse get a sweat on today, and make sure that you see that on the racetrack. And the 7 horse, Harv Won't Tap. Rob Falcone Jr., first time off the claim for him. Horse made a nice impression on the racetrack. And he gets Joel Rosario, who to me, when he's riding good, pretty much nobody rides any better than he does. And guys, I think he's in his zone right now. So it'll be interesting. Always a tricky little race out of this 1.16 on the inner turf course. They're actually breaking from the outside fence of the outer turf course. They make a little bit of a left into the dog leg, kind of come up over the hump. It's not quite the downhill at Santa Anita, Greg, but it's a little bit different.
Yeah, we were talking about kind of where that starts with this 1.16, and you're a little bit at a disadvantage in terms of maybe for Harv Won't Tap, who comes from so far out of the pace, but maybe Joel can get over, save some ground early on. But he is right, and Mig's right. I mean, he is just in the zone right now.
Yeah, he really is. It's only a 6-horse field, so I don't think anybody will be compromised. And the horse looks great on the racetrack. There you can see him, the son of Divine Park. And he does come from way out of it. Rosario got to ride him one time. He's really good second time on a horse because he's able to maybe judge that horse's leg kick, and that's what he loves to do. He loves to sit back and make that one run. As you see, the pick bar had myself and Richie on Jose's horse, the 8, Shalako, just thinking that putting himself in the race, and hopefully he can try to steal this. But there's so many others in here if they sit a good trip. There's the 7, Harvey Won't Tap. I'm surprised
Belmont Stakes winning jockey, Joel Rosario.
I'm surprised he's the favorite just because of the pace being a little bit murky in here, like what's going to happen. Now, if the 4, 6, and 8 all decide to go, of course, he gets included. But if they go really, really slow, there's some horses that can finish in here. Did you think the 7 was going to be the favorite?
I definitely... I thought it'd be around there.
Okay.
I mean, Mowbridge, to me, I did not think was the morning line favorite. Stepping up in class, now a 9-year-old. I know he went impressively last time out, but that field was not much compared to this group. I did not think he would be favored.
No, that group last time he had that over a barrel.
But again, I mean, whatever we think, if he repeats what he did in his last race, talking about the 2 Mowbridge, he can win this race.
No, because you could have got a nice little confidence booster got back to a number where he used to be. He is a 10-time winner out of 31 starts, so he loves to win races. So you can't take anything away from the 2. I thought he wasn't going to get played, and a lot of people think he's probably going to bounce off that race. We'll see what happens.
With more on Mobridge, the 9-year-old son of Indigo Shiner, let's go to Mig.
Yeah, Greg, this 9-year-old took a little while to see him kind of break that little bit of sweat that I wanted to see. I thought he kind of looked a little bit dry going by me. That's something I pay attention to. But it looks like after he got warmed up, he just started to get a little bit wet. And again, I want to see that on a day like this. He knows how to win, like Paul said, 10 for 31, so basically a third of his starts. He finds himself in the winner's circle and 5 for 9 at Belmont Park on this course. So that's a huge statistic. I like horses that like to win. And one thing I like about reporting here from the winner's circle as a jockey, you fight all day long to get in the winner's circle. Now all I got to do is come down here and talk to you guys.
See how easy it is?
I know, right?
He lives in the winner's circle now.
It's a cool spot here at Belmont Park.
He did a lot of living in the winner's circle
he did?
during his time when he was riding. He's being modest.
Ooh, that pick 6 pool up to 2.5 million now. Starting to get into Dr. Evil land. We get into that 3 million.
It's getting up there. Hard to resist this one with this kind of pool this afternoon. And you can play it by getting signed up with NYRA Bets. You'll get a $200 new member bonus when you bet $200 as well when you use the promo code LIVE at sign up. That allows you to bet any track, anywhere, anytime, including this pick 6 monster carryover. Go to NYRABets.com or download the NYRA Bets app.
So I went 3 horses, Greg Wolf, 4, 7, 8 to try to get out of this race. What would you have done?
This race, to me, honestly, I would not want to take any chances.
You would all it?
I don't feel good. I mean, I like Mr. Maybe the Best. He's at 4 to 1 on the board, but no one gives me a ton of confidence. Yeah, I would try and pare down somewhere else and get out of this race.
Yeah, and the thing is do you make your single in the next race? Is it Chad Brown? I mean, do you live and die by Chad Brown? If you look at the numbers, the horse does not stick out completely on the numbers, but it's Chad Brown. You know, so I think a lot of people, like you said, if that horse gets beat the 8 in the next race, it don't matter what comes in, you're gonna get paid, because that's gonna be the most singled horse in the sequence, because there's just nowhere else you can find a horse that's, unless there's some buzz out on the first-time starters in the 6th race that we don't know about.
Which could be the case.
Could
We'll see.
be the case.
We'll wait and see.
The 7th race and the 8th race are impossible. They're both, I mean, there's multiple horses that can win those 2 races, and you know it.
I wouldn't say they're impossible, but there's a few options in.
There's options in each race. There's like no one where the horses truly stick out, and a lot of pick 6 players try to get to the last race. I was trying to get to the last race, and then I got to the last race, and I just kept adding horses.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
You can keep making cases for more and more in that finale. Let's go downstairs to the MIG with more before we break from the gate here for the pick 6.
Yeah, Greg, I just thought it was an interesting shot watching all of these classy older horses, turf veterans, kind of standing out, waiting for their turn to walk onto the turf course. They were all so well behaved, so classy about it. And when I was riding, what I like to do is where the water trucks would go along the outside fence, they would leave puddles. And on a hot day like this, the track gets warm. I used to like to stand my horse in the puddles, keep his feet nice and cool, keep their body temperature just a drop lower. Because once you get on the turf course, it's going to feel about 10 degrees hotter, particularly in the confines of the starting gate. But I just thought that was a great shot, Greg, with all them horses just acting so well. Really classy group.
Yeah, I mean, this is a group of old veterans that know what they're doing out there on the racetrack. And really, I mean, the youngster of the group is the 5-year-old.
I know, right?
Harvon Tap.
Yeah, and over $2.8 million in your next flash, and it's going to get to almost $3 million in the pick 6. If you got your pick 6 ticket in, good luck. May all your photo finishes go your way today.
Joel Rosario on that one right there, the 7 stepping in line. He is your favorite right now. Harv won't tap off the claim for Robert Falcone Jr. Good luck in this massive pick 6 carryover. Let's go to Larry Collmus.
They're off. A good even beginning here. It's going to be Applicator who goes out to the early lead from Mo Bridge, Mr. Maybe, and farther out and moving up now is Shalako to be close up to the pace, and Shalako makes his way up into second position outside of Applicator as they head on to the backstretch. Mo Bridge sits back, runs in third by 2.5, and then it's Golden Spear followed by Harv Won't Tap, and now Mr. Maybe has been relegated to trail the field early on as they head up the backstretch in pursuit of Applicator, who leads by a half a length. Shalako second, opening quarter mile up in 23.68 seconds. These two making the pace 3.5 clear of Mobridge. A break of another 5 lengths more. Back to Golden Spear and Harv Won't Tap on the outside. Mr. Maybe trailing this field is 12 lengths from the front as they continue up the backstretch and approach the far turn. Applicator from Shalako. The lead is a length and 3/4 at this stage. And the pace is fast. 46.76 was the half mile. These two have a 7-length bulge now on Mobridge, who's got another 5 lengths on Harv Won't Tap, Golden Spear, and Mr. Maybe. So around the far turn they go. Javier Castellano and Applicator go on with it here. They've opened up to lead by 3.5 now. Shalako trying to keep pace in second, and then on the outside comes Mobridge. 3/4 in 110.16. They're into the stretch, and it is Applicator who arrives at the 8th pole with a 4-length lead. And then it's Mobridge on the outside, second, followed by Shalako and Harv Won't Tap, who's making late progress on the far outside. But Applicator's got a big lead here close to home, and Applicator is going to do it by 2.5 on the wire over Mobridge, who was in a photo with Harv Won't Tap for second, and Shalako was fourth.
Applicator, Javier Castellano got out front early. And Applicator and Shalako kind of opened up on this field early, and Applicator never looked back.
Yeah, we kept saying whoever's going to get to the front end in this race is going to be very, very dangerous. It does not matter how fast you go. Look at the time. These are 40,000 claimers just ran 1:39.3 for a mile and 16th. Doesn't matter. The 8 Shalako gave in, but I mean, I don't see anybody really blowing by Shalako.
It's not that far off the course record. By the way.
Exactly. It's just like, you got to take the initiative and get to the front end, and Castellano did. Jose Ortiz tried with Shalako. You're going to see Mobridge had trip of life in here, but you just can't make any ground right now on this turf course. It's baked. It's hot out right now. And I'm telling you right now, you better have some speed because the next 4 out of 5 races are on the turf course.
Applicator gets to the front, second off the claim for Rudy Rodriguez in a gate-to-wire win with Javier Castellano for La Marca Stable. And wins at 7-2 to kick things off, beating a 2-1 post-time favorite in Harv Won't Tap. Prices from the first leg of this Pick 6 carryover. When we come back, we'll set the stage for the NYRA Bets Late Pick 5 next.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NYRABets.com.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including multiple stakes winner Autumn Warrior and Sipacan Harbor, winner of the Grade 1 Spinaway Stakes at Saratoga. On the track, Orb continues to add winners. And in the sales rate, his 2-year-olds have sold up to $250,000 in 2019. Classic winner, classic pedigree, Orb, standing at Claiborne Farm.
This is America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. We are underway in a massive Pick 6 carryover. $500,000 coming into this afternoon. And there's your winner of the opening leg of the sequence. Applicator goes gate to wire under Javier Castellano. Second off the claim for trainer Rudy Rodriguez and owned by LaMarca Stable. 6-year-old gelding by Henry the Navigator returns $9.10 for the win. To kick things off in the pick six, let's head downstairs to the MIG.
Here with winning trainer Rudy Rodriguez. And Rudy, were you concerned at all? Because those are very fast fractions on the inner turf for a mile and 16. Were you concerned he was going too quick?
You know, Richie, when he went 23 and 2 and then he went 46, I said, oh my God, I think we was going to be in trouble. But, you know, the weather is pretty good. The grass is nice and hard right now. And I don't know, you know, we just got to give it to Javier, you know. But then the last 8 of the mile looked like he was getting tired, but thank God we got it done.
Well, you say you got to give it to Javier. You rode Rudy, so you know that you kind of got to put in the jockey's hands. Is it difficult sometimes because you are a jockey when you're watching from the stands that you go, don't do that, or maybe they should be doing something different?
You know, it's always difficult, but, you know, Richie, sometimes you just got to let him play and see how he goes, and look like he was comfortable doing it. And then when he left Chalaco behind, I was kind of worried because went 46 and then in 33, but you know, the turf course is playing a little hard and is playing a little fast, so, but we just got to be happy that we got him.
Well, and Rudy, this horse got claimed for 40. You claimed him for 25 2 starts ago. A third with trouble, a win, and games for 40. You wish you worked that way all the time, huh?
Oh, definitely. That's a win-win situation.
Congratulations. And guys, not only is he making the winner's circle as a trainer, he won a grade 1 right here at Belmont Park on Frost Giant in the Suburban.
Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Richie.
Was that like 81-1 or something?
Something 60-something to 1, something like that. And we saw Frost Giant the other day win with one of his first progeny ever to step foot on the turf course. He was 0 for 135 with first-time turfers, and that horse won. Now 1 for 136.
We'll look at our pick six carryover total pool. Nearly $4 million
wow,
in
awesome
there this
stuff.
afternoon. That is huge. An Applicator starts us off beating a favorite in the first leg, going gate to wire, paying $9.10.
Hopefully you had that horse and you put on your Applicator. Nice.
You alive?
Huh?
You alive?
Yeah, I'm alive. 478.
Okay. All right. Well done.
I put my Applicator on.
Okay. See what happens the rest of the way. Good start. Some of us are not. We are all excited about what's coming up on July 6th. It's going to be a tremendous program on the Stars and Stripes Festival. It includes the Turf Triple Series, the Turf Trinity for the males, which starts at 1.25 miles in the Grade 1 Belmont Derby. We had that terrific rematch last year between Catholic Boy and Analyze It from the 1-2 finish in the Pennine Ridge. And this year it looks like we have the top 3 finishers from the Grade 3 Pennine Ridge, all coming back at DeMarchelier, Seismic Wave, and Social Paranoia. It was DeMarchelier who won that race for Chad Brown. He's an undefeated 3 for 3.
He's the one, the widest on the outside, and I can't tell if he won this race measured. He seemed to get sort of bumped right there sideways, and it was almost like sort of shrugged it off a tiny bit, and then he just went on about his business. He's leaning in completely during the stretch. Castellano did an unbelievable job to keep him straight down the lane. And you know what? He decided to put the whip away because what ended up happening was when he was leaning in, I think he didn't want to hit him right-handed, Greg, because he didn't want him to maybe duck in more. As you look at the Belmont Derby, the first leg of the Turf Trinity, and it's a pretty good group of horses that are supplemented, huh?
14
wow.
good runs so far in this race, including Master Fencer, who competed, of course, in the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont Stakes.
Well, that high-legged action that he has, and he was rolling in the center of the racetrack in the Belmont when he ran a good 5th place finish. It's going to be very interesting to see him.
Well, usually in these races, Chad Brown, he's loaded. It's the case again. He will send out DeMarchelier and Digital Aids, and they were working together. This was on Sunday going 5 furlongs.
I mean, what can you say? Chad usually works these horses the same way, Richie the same way. Like, I can never tell which one's working better.
Let's get to the MIG. Oh, MIG, go ahead.
Well, they are so well schooled and so well put together. He matches his horses up so well, and he's got some great riders. I mean, Javier Castellano, here on the outside in the Marchelier, excuse me, and the exercise riders he employs are so good. And you can see, even on the gallop out, they're in hand, they're together. They get a lot out of these works, guys, because they stay competitive. They stay in the bridle. They use themselves more. That's just as pretty a maintenance move as you're ever going to see.
And this is a battle between the two undefeated Chad Browns. Digital Age, DeMarchelier, both are 3 for 3. So intrigued just to see what these two do. But we do have an international flair with this year's field as well, Richie.
Thirds of our Triple Crown, the Kentucky Derby, and the Belmont Stakes. And here he is, and he's basically just out for a hack, I would say. This isn't even really a gallop. He's just cantering around, getting a look at Belmont Park's turf course. This is a horse, like I said, that has gone through 2 legs of the Triple Crown. So you know fitness level isn't a concern. It's just getting a horse comfortable with his surroundings. Now, he trained up here to the Belmont Stakes for a few days, but that was on the dirt. One thing I'm not crazy about, it just seems like the rider was struggling with him about trying to get him on the proper lead. He stopped him almost to a trot there. Now you can see now he picks up his right lead, but it's never, to me, a good sign when you've got to stop one almost to a walk to get him to pick up his right lead. That's more of like a dressage or hunter-jumper thing. That's not a racehorse thing. I'm going to keep my eyes on Master Fencer as we get closer to the Belmont Derby, Greg.
Everyone looking forward to seeing what he can do on the turf. He's yet to win on the turf. Couple of tries, I believe, over in Japan. Did not win, but we'll see if he can take a move forward here. He was doing so well, they decided to stay here. Kind of a last-minute audible from connections with Master Fencer. Meanwhile, Moon Colony for trainer Mark Cassidy, he's won at 3 different racetracks on turf, on 3 different kinds of turf. He's won on soft-going, yielding, and firm, most recently in the Penn Mile, grade 2 win on a yielding turf course.
Yeah, I think this is the horse, or one of the horses to beat, and I like him a lot. Over at Penn National, Gulfstream Park, like you said, Fairgrounds. He actually didn't run bad over the Churchill Downs dirt. Keeneland, Saratoga, he actually ran a bang-up race in his second start at Saratoga. I just think he has a ton of class, and he's starting to trend in the right direction for Cassie, who seems like ever since War of Will won the Preakness that he's been on a roll, and he's got another runner here, a son of Uncle Mo, that can run.
3 for 5 on the turf, trying to win on what would be his 4th different turf course.
That's amazing.
If he can get a job done in the Belmont Derby, first leg of that turf trinity. That's the lineup. Stars and Stripes Racing Festival afternoon, loaded day, including the grade 3 Dwyer. That's where we had Forense Fire's coming out party really last year when he was so sensational in that race. And the Suburban grade 2, looking at seeing Catholic Boy make his return here.
And it seems like Catholic Boy going to be in the Suburban, but last year's Belmont Derby is something you'll just never forget. I still can't believe he won that race.
Doing it to analyze it a second time, talking about Catholic Boy winning the Pennine Ridge and the Belmont Derby, both coming from behind in the stretch when it looked like he was beat both times.
I mean, I still can't believe it. It's, that stretch is like going to be replayed for a long time to come.
4th race is the start of the NYRA Bets Late Pick 5. It is 6 furlongs turf sprint coming up, an allowance optional claiming race here in Muda Katif. Chad Brown, second start in the States. He was so keyed up early on in that debut. Now they're going to shorten him up in distance.
Yeah, and look for him to be fast. He was 6-5 first time out, and like you said, he was fighting Castellano the whole way around. But this is a different ballgame when you have sprint speed, like the 4 Colonel Tom, who can be very, very fast. But the 8, listen, you either got to live and die with Chad Brown or not. Now, Colonel Tom scares me the way this racetrack is playing, because this is a horse that went 21-1 at Saratoga. So if I was going to go a little deeper and I'm playing a bigger ticket, use the 4 in here, but I'm going to play the 8 to start. 2, 8, 9, 10 in race number 5. I like AI Initiative. Whiskey is my wine. You have to use 1, 4, 5, race number 6. Rudy Rod. I'm going to use the 2 first-time starters in there. As you can see, I singled the 1 in my pick 6. I'm going to go a little deeper in the pick 5. 1, 6, 9, 10, 11. Questex 1 for 25. But the way this racetrack's been playing, you never know. And then I'm going with Fusai and Youth Gone Wild. I'm taking my shot. 3-5 in the last in a wide open race. You can throw darts in the last race, and hopefully the dart hits your horse. Not physically your horse. It hits your horse's ticket, I mean.
It's a wide open group.
Yes.
And we're going to take a look at the favorite here, that horse you're looking at in his States debut. It was at Gulfstream. It was at a mile. And this is after all the trouble already happened. He was super keyed up early on in this race. He was fighting with his rider. By this time, levels out, and now he's getting a challenge to the horse from on his outside, who would wind up winning his 3rd in a row.
Yeah, he won his 3rd in a row, and they sort of kicked away. I was surprised that he was able to kick away. He sort of kicked with his competition, so I don't think he was giving it up at all. Like I said, the worry is what you just saw on the turf course just a minute ago. You saw a horse go blazing fast. Can he stay close enough to pass some of these horses? Because I just don't know if he's fast enough to be in front of these horses.
He did have a win, and that's a whole different ballgame, obviously, overseas in Great Britain, where he was on the lead.
Yeah.
But the kind of speed we have here, they're not used to seeing over there. So we'll see if, more importantly, can he be relaxed early on. As you look at Colonel Tom, we've been talking about this a lot over the past hour or so on the show. This is not the strength of George Weaver. 180-plus day layoff. Turf sprints over the last 5 years, just 9%.
Yeah, 9% in the money about a third of the time. This is a colt by Colonel Tom that possesses amazing speed. 21-1, 43-3. We'll show it to you. 101 and change, 55-1, and that was on a rock-hard turf course at Saratoga. That's what he's going to get today. And he's been able to wire a field going 7 furlongs in 121 and change. This horse has got a lot of talent. He's beaten the 6 in here, Discreet Mart. He's beaten Shiraz in here, the 5. And I know those are long shots, but left alone on the front end, he can be very dangerous.
That was at 5.5 furlongs. He had a couple of races that summer. Now he comes in off a longer layoff, which is the concern for this barn as we take a look at the 6th discretionary mark, and this is who was chasing Colonel Tom in that race that we just showed you. But since that time, he has come back to win back-to-back starts, and then he finally got beat late November. This will be his comeback race as well.
He got in really good form, didn't he? Then he just threw in a tiny bit of a clunker, so they took him to the sidelines. Now in a new barn, in the Robert Falcone barn, and you get Kendrick Carmouche aboard, so you know the send part will be in order. And here's the deal, 4 for 12 lifetime, all 4 wins here at Belmont.
Banana Thief, he, unlike a couple we've been talking about in the 4 and the 6, has a start under his belt at this meet. 7-year-old for Steve Asmussen. We've talked about him a lot on our show and seen him run. Jose Ortiz will be in the irons this afternoon, and he'll be coming from off the pace. He'd love to see a hot pace up front.
That's what he needs, right? 3 back at Saratoga. He just nosed out Frisky Magician right at the wire and ran a giant race that day. But he needs pace to run into. He really does.
NYRA Bets Late Pick 5. It begins in this 4th race. We're 13 minutes to post. Let's get a Paddock report and head downstairs to Richie Migliore.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. And looking at this good-looking group of sprinters, and sprinters have such a definitive look. You know, they are shorter coupled, a little blockier, a little thicker, and they just look fast. They don't have that long, lean, old-fashioned thoroughbred look. And a horse that embodies the look of a sprinter, particularly a turf sprinter, is the 8, Moot Takatif. This horse is just very short coupled, got that kind of real blocky, thick neck on him. And this is a horse that, you know, ran 6, 6.5, 7 overseas. They're very, very sharp at really recognizing how far a horse wants to go, what their limitations are. This horse came back at a mile. He was keen on a slow pace, hit the front, and didn't have enough gas to finish the deal. I think he's going to truly appreciate the cut back to 6 furlongs as your favorite. Horse that you guys were talking about, the 4, Colonel Tom, was talking with Blair Golan, the assistant trainer, to George Weaver, and she said she's had this horse since March. They put him back in training way back in March. He is trained steadily and really feels like he's very fit today. I know he's got a tough stat off of that kind of layoff, but I really was caught by how he looked, and actually that's why I sidled up to her by the saddling stalls and asked about his fitness, because he looks fit to me, and you know he's fast. It's going to be interesting to see. I think he's going to fire big off the bench, guys.
All right, Mig, thank you very much. Colonel Tom coming in off the layoff, hasn't raced since early September. We're going to take a break. We'll have the 4th post parade when we come back.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. with yearlings bringing up to $650,000 and his first crop 2-year-old selling up to $430,000, the sky's the limit for this promising young stallion. Lead, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
This is a colt by Runhappy out of Addison Run. We bred here in Montfort Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well. Has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farms.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NYRABets.com.
All right, Paul LoDuca here at the 151st running of the Belmont Stakes. Marty always is at Saratoga. Brownie time. I hope these aren't loaded brownies for my sake.
There doesn't appear to be much other pace in the race.
Yeah, there really doesn't. You really don't get much.
Drop that mic.
All right, so we're going to go watch the Belmont now.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. We just called a really cool snippet of my co-host here, Paul LoDuca, at the Belmont. Jeff Ruby hanging out with you.
Oh my God, his outfits are getting worse and worse, Maggie. Yeah. But he's the one that nicknamed me Polly Walnuts. I don't know if that's good or bad. But
do you know what that means?
No, I don't. I don't at all.
That's probably
but
a good thing.
It doesn't. As long as it gets me one of the best steaks in the world, which he does have some of the best steakhouses in the world, and he's so engraved into racing now that Jeff Ruby Steaks at Turfway
Steaks.
So yeah, exactly. And he really loves horse racing. He really does.
No, he's such a character. We love those types of people that support racing and our industry. As we are checking out a post parade here for race number 4, we have the 3-year-olds going 6 furlongs on the turf in this optional allowance, and we'll kick things off with All Systems Go, getting back to the turf here for John Terranova and Luis Saez.
Yeah, this was a well-meant horse for Eric Fine when he was a youngster, and he won first time out. Hasn't progressed, but he could be very, very dangerous here at age 4.
Now, off the back of a maiden score, Lawn Twist will go out for Leo O'Brien and Junior Alvarado. And, Paulie, his turf races are good.
His last 2 have been very good. I think he's getting overlooked a little bit with Junior Alvarado aboard. I know Loscano was aboard last time, but he set off a good pace and finished nicely, and you're getting 7-1.
Taking a lot of money is the one coming off the bench, number 4, Colonel Tom. George Weaver sends us this one out with Jose Loscano.
Yeah, I know not good stats, but this horse is fast as can be, and the way the racetrack is playing, going to be very dangerous to catch.
Earlier, we saw a 2 for 38 horse get it done. Maybe it'll be Shiraz, who is 2 for 23 lifetime with Mike Maker.
I know, right? And 1 win at Belmont, 6 seconds. So he's only missed the board 1 time. So maybe throw this horse in your exotics.
Now, a trainer change with number 6, Discretionary Mark, will go out for Rob Falcone for the first time, Patricia Generazio, and Kendrick Carmouche.
I mean, he has some speed to maybe stay close, I guess, to the 4, Colonel Tom and Murley. We'll see if he can stay with them.
I thought this was the interesting horse here. Second off a layoff is number 7, Banana Thief, Steve Asmussen, Jose Ortiz in the irons.
Always brings his run, doesn't he? And he's got 2 wins out of the 4 here at Belmont. Type of horse that always brings the same type of game. You know, he's going to lay back and start rolling in the stretch.
And he might get the speed to do so here because we don't know what number 8 Mutakatif is going to do. I mean, he was rank and he's been close in his sprint races over in England. So is he close to the pace here? This Chad Brown favorite.
And you make a good point. You see they're straight to the lead, tracked leaders. He does have some early speed. When you look at his last race, he was very, very keen early. So I would think Castellano's going to let him roll from the beginning. And if that happens, it could turn into a speed duel, and you wonder if some people can make some ground up on this racetrack.
Now, you went to single this horse here for this NYRA Bets late pick 5. I mean, he looks a picture out there, and I like the fact that Chad is being realistic with him and turning him back in distance.
Yeah, I mean, if I had extra money, obviously I would throw the 4 in here. The last race is a pickle too. I mean, all these races are very, very tough. What you want to do in race number 6, the baby race, Bull of Bayern was a $250,000 purchase. That was 2.5 to 1 first time out and did not run like it. So do you have to use the other first-time starters? I did. I thought you did. Race number 7 is difficult with the scratch of Silencia. Questec is 1 for 25 on the turf, but might be alone on the lead. So these last couple races, the 7th and 8th, Maggie, I found tricky.
I totally agree with you. They're kind of wide open events where you can make cases for a lot of horses, as maybe a lot of people are making a case for number 4, Colonel Tom in here. My problem with him is he has the layoff to deal with. Now, sometimes he's taken a start to get going. You go back to last year, that's 2017 to 2018 layoff. He needed that start, and he had to shake off the ring rust a little bit. And then he just got very fast, and he won his next 2. But also, you know, George Weaver isn't necessarily known to have them totally cranked up for their first starts back.
You're right. And he's not having the best of meets. And it's nothing against George. He can flat out train.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, you know, an $8,500 purchase that's been out since September. Obviously, the buzz in the morning been working well. Looks good on the racetrack. I get it. And very, very fast. But, like, the numbers say no. And then you got a Chad Brown runner on the outside that's probably saying yes.
Yeah. And Meg, as we throw it down to Richard Migliore, Meg, I'm excited to see or hear what you think about this horse from our vantage point. He looks a picture on the racetrack.
He really does, Maggie. Mutakatif. He looks like a sprinter. If you had seen him in the paddock, and I'm sure you've seen him in the past, he just is close coupled, got that kind of thick shoulders, thick neck on him. I think he's going to really relish the turn back to 6 furlongs, left the pony with Javier Castellano, and really, you know, got up underneath himself, framed up beautifully, got a good hold of the bit without being ranked. I really think he's going to appreciate the fact that they're going to be running along pretty quickly. Javier's not going to have to get into a fight with him. He's going to be able to just let him kind of bowl along with that long, light hold, especially from the outside. I think he is very much the horse to beat, and I would be inclined to single him. The 4 horse you guys talked about, Colonel Tom, you know, in the paddock, I thought he looked really fit. I saw him by the saddling stalls. I talked with Blair Golan, the assistant trainer. She said he's been training really well, steadily since March. He feels like he's pretty fit. But then watching him gallop by under tack, he actually looked like he's carrying just a little bit more weight than maybe you'd like to see. And I think I would kind of take a wait-and-see approach, just like Maggie said. Let him shake the ring rust off in this one. I'm sure he's going to be ready for Saratoga. The 2-horse Lawn Twist from Leo O'Brien. I absolutely loved this horse last time. Got very lucky with 9 to 1 on him. He got the money, and I think this is what this horse wants to do, is be a turf sprinter. But I was just wondering if that effort might not have taken a little bit out of him. He just didn't look quite as energetic, quite as sharp to me as he did last time when he got the money. And, of course, this is going to be somewhat tougher. But I do believe that this is what this horse wants, turf sprinting. And I think Leo figured that out. But I just would like to have seen a little bit more bounce in his step when he galloped by me. And then a horse that I think you have to use for your exotics is the 5 Shiraz. Horse got a good sweat on, looked great in the warm-up. I think he needed his race because he's kind of a bigger, stronger-looking horse that probably needed a run. But I think he's going to take a big step forward today. And, again, I like when horses get a little bit of shine on, a little bit of sweat going over to the gate. So let's see how it shakes out. But it's definitely all about the Chad Brown trainee.
I 4-5, Mig, I would have to say so. As we'll check in, though, back with your second choice here, Paulie, and Colonel Tom. And I totally agree. I mean, I watched some of his workouts that you can check out on XBTV, and he's looked sensational. Even his last workout here on the dirt, which is not his preferred surface, he was moving beautifully, and it was a work that he did not look as though he was going that fast. The rider had a stout restraint. So he's training well into this one. My problem mainly is that it just feels like there might be some other speed horses to keep him company, and he's gotten lucky in some of his spots where he's worked out a trip as being the lone speed.
And those other horses are the 6, Discretionary Mark. I would think All Systems Go. The 1 is going to have to show speed from the inside. Lawn Twist to 2. Mig was talking about that horse. Even Shiraz has shown speed in the past to 5. So you're right. There could be some pace in here. He could be the speed of the speed. And like you said, where does the 8 lie in this whole grand scheme of things? I wouldn't be surprised if he's dead last and circles his field the way Chad Brown goes, but I would think he's going to be laying 3rd or 4th in this spot.
Yeah, that's where I saw him. Now, you've mentioned number 1, All Systems Go. I was excited about this horse until I actually went back and watched that workout. Now, workouts aren't, you know, hard and fast rules by any means, but he worked in his last workout on the turf back on June 16th with Fun Guy, who ran on Sunday in our Stallion Series stake, and he ran a great second. Fun Guy was going so much better than this horse. I mean, it was a joke. I mean, they finally just singled in on Fun Guy and left All Systems Go in the back and didn't even have the camera on him. He was kind of holding his head weird. He had his tail out. He was swishing his tail a bit. He just never looked comfortable in the turf course. And I know his better races have come there, so I'm a little hesitant. Though John Terranova, I'd be afraid of his horses as we are taking one last look at Mutaka Teef here. I mean, this is what you want to see. He's relaxed for a horse that got keyed up, obviously going 2 turns and longer last time. He's just chilling out there.
No, he really is. And I would think Javier just going to let him break and do his own thing, let him sit where he sits. But obviously he's going to have to press the button a little earlier to get him close up to the pace, close up to Colonel Tom and some of these other horses on the front end, because you know he's going to be able to finish.
Banana Thief was my interesting one. He was the only horse in his last start to make up any ground. First start off a layoff. Second one here, I think he could move forward a bit, but granted, facing a tougher field.
No, you're right. He's, to me, the horse that's going to be closing, the best closer of this group. You could look at other horses in here, but Banana Thief has $300,000 in the bank for a reason.
Absolutely, as they are almost loaded here for race number 4 to kick off this NYRA Bets late pick 5. We'll throw it up to Larry Collmus of the Call of the 4th.
And the last one to come up here is the big favorite Mutaka Teef, who takes position, and they're all in line. They're off. Banana Thief comes out quickly with Discretionary Mark. These two out to the front together and sent through on their inside as All Systems Go to battle for the front up the backstretch. And then Mutaka Teef moving up on the outside of Lawn Twist, Colonel Tom. The trailer is Shiraz, but only 4 lengths behind as Discretionary Mark goes at it with All Systems Go racing for the far turn. Mutaka Teef on the outside of Banana Thief right behind them. 22.86 that opening quarter mile. And then it's Colonel Tom on the inside of Shiraz. They're just 3 lengths behind and moving in tandem on the far turn. Lawn Twist is the trailer. Discretionary Mark a half a length. All Systems Go second. Mutaka Teef is third on the outside. Banana Thief behind horses. So too Colonel Tom. A wide trip for Shiraz and Lawn Twist is the trailer as Discretionary Mark turns for home in front. It's a length and a half lead. Banana Thief ranging up on the outside. Mutaka Teef is coming to in the center. Then All Systems Go down on the inside. Discretionary Mark and Banana Thief. Lawn Twist is finishing fast too and has moved up into third, and Mutaka Teef is not going on today. It's Banana Thief and Discretionary Mark. Lawn Twist third. Down to the wire. Discretionary Mark. Discretionary Mark won it over Banana Thief, Lawn Twist, and then Mutaka Teef.
Well, a game effort off the bench. First-time trainer change for Discretionary Mark and Rob Falcone, Kendrick Carmouche in the irons. And boy, my boy Banana Thief, he is the hanger of all hangers.
Yeah, he broke like a rocket out of the gate. We originally thought it was the 8, but then the 6 took the initiative. Kendrick Carmouche, the 4 did not get out of the gate at all.
No.
And Colonel Tom, and keep tell you, it's going to be hard to pass today. Banana Thief was by the 6 Discretionary Mark, and you're going to get 16-1. Another upset to start this pick 6 as he's going to hold off the 12-1 shot here in Banana Thief. The 2 dives down to the rail to make this a nice little trifecta, as your favorite is off the board here, and the 4, your second choice, is completely off the board. I want to see what happened to the 4 in the beginning of this race.
I mean, historically speaking, Paulie, he just breaks slow. That's what he does. It's like he needs to start off the layoff to get his head back in the game.
Yeah.
He just is slow.
He did. Yeah, he didn't get out of the gate, didn't do anything, wasn't really pressed towards the lead, nothing.
Yeah, he needs one to shake off the ring rust. We'll see how he comes back. But New York breds 1-2 here. Discretionary mark. Huge, huge overlay, in my opinion, here with Banana Thief and Lawn Twist rounding things out. So good showing for him. First time against winners. We'll have the prices for you as they come home 108 flat here for the 6 furlongs. Very game effort on the front end by Discretionary mark. Now we are going to take a break here on America's Day at the Races as we'll check in with this 3-year-old Code of Honor as he preps for a start in the Dwyer for Hall of Famer Shug McGahee. Stay tuned.
Our summer cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. Our plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NYRABets.com.
Warfront, a leading sire on all surfaces and all fronts. His recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach, Helmsman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy flag. Plus Preakness Stakes winner War with Will. And these recent group and graded winners. Sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018, this son of Danzig continues to dominate both on the track and in the sales ring. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races as it is brought to you in part by Runhappy. We spoke to Mattress Mac, James McInville, a little bit earlier on the show. Good to hear that he is in fine health and on a recovery after a mini stroke scare, but he is proudly standing Runhappy at Claiborne Farm for $25,000 as you are checking out winner of today's 4th race, Discretionary Mark, a New York bred by Discreet Cat out of the mare to market. He's had some nice runners for Patricia Generazio and new trainer Rob Falco.
Yeah, congratulations. 5 wins, all here at Belmont Park. Kendrick Carmouche in the irons. This is the second time he rode this gelding by Discreet Cat. And look at that pick 3. If you're alive in the early pick 5 or alive in the pick 6, good luck because you're alive for some scores.
And that kicked off the late pick 5 as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
everything.
Starting out with big balloons here as we want to check in with winning trainer who's standing by with Richard Migliore.
Thanks, Maggie. Rob Falcone Jr., great job to have this horse ready to fire off the bench. You had to feel good down the backstretch for that first quarter. Wasn't that fast.
Yeah, it felt good when we saw the opening fractions. Also, we felt good going in the race. He's just a real classy horse, doing everything the right way, training great, so all worked out good.
Well, but he really finished the deal, too. He came home at 11-3. Did you feel like you had him that kind of fit?
Yeah, actually I did. Kendrick came and worked him for me a couple of times, you know, and he worked great every time. He just, you know, off the layoff, each work, he was just getting better and better and better, and he was finishing up his works real nice, galloping out good, and coming back full of energy, so pretty sure I had, you know, the screws tight for the race off the layoff.
Rob, this is the first horse you've run for the Generazio family. How did it come about that you got some horses for them?
Mr. and Mrs. Generazio gave me a call, you know, a few months back, and beginning of the year, and said that they were looking, you know, for a younger guy to kind of, you know, switch things up a little bit, and I got lucky that they chose me, and they gave me a couple of horses, and so far, 1 for 1.
Well, good way to get started, maybe a few more in the future.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, you're having a great meet, and here's a guy that knows what he's doing. His horse is always well turned out, Maggie. You can attest to that, and looking forward to Saratoga.
That I'm sure he is, and a young trainer who just does great work, and nice to see him teaming up with the Generosios. They breed very nice horses, and they're always in Saratoga too.
Here they are, and you can see the pool of 3.3 million, just under 3.4, Maggie. Pretty tough. Applicator, it's a discretionary mark. You've already probably got your prices. Now you just want to finish it out if you're alive, and you're alive for a nice score.
Absolutely, and we'll keep you abreast of that. If it's taken down today, a nice payout is guaranteed, as we are a little over a week away from our Stars and Stripes Festival, as it kicks off the Turf Triple Series, and the Turf Tiara for the 3-year-old fillies will begin with the Grade 1 Belmont Oaks going 1.25 miles over this beautiful Belmont turf course, and that is going to attract some big names, as we'll see if Newspaper Record, that filly that was in that box, and we'll see here in the Wonder Again Stakes, if she can turn the corner and get back on track here for her 3-year-old campaign.
Yeah, this is her last start against her stablemate, and you can physically see that her stablemate is physically bigger than her, and you're starting to wonder now, going a longer distance to ground, will it help it with her speed? Will she be able to settle down? Have they been disappointing? Has she just not got any bigger? I'll leave that, answer up to you there, Maggie. You know more than me.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, Cambier Park, she didn't look as good as Newspaper of Record, beginning of the year with that resume coming in, but she's just developed into this huge physical athlete. And maybe Newspaper Record, she hasn't gone on, but they're going to try their best, try to rate her this time. And as we throw it down to Mig, we kind of saw Irad Ortiz aboard in this work. Try to do that with her. What did you think of this workout?
Settled in the workout than she's been in her races. Now, as you know, Maggie, it's a much more controlled environment in the morning in a workout. You're leaving the pole. You can kind of orchestrate it with your workmate where you want to be. She did get a little bit keen. She got up alongside the other horse. Of course, in the races, it's a lot different. You go to the gate, you break from the gate. It's a different atmosphere, a lot more excitement. You can see he's got a good hold of her all the way.
Cambier Park is in that workout.
Yeah, all the way through the wire. She really, really is taking a hold of the bit. I'm not convinced that they've got her switched off yet, and I think that's going to be the key to her success going forward as a 3-year-old. If she's going to make that jump from 2 to 3, it's going to be by switching off and getting off the bridle, and I'm not convinced this work got that done yet.
Mig, thank you, and I would agree. She's a filly, Polly, that it's not as if you notice that she's really wound up or keyed up or anything prior to the races. She's calm and cool as a cucumber, but I'm also interested to see what kind of equipment she shows up in, if they change that up with her for this start in the Belmont Oaks. Yeah,
they got to try something, right? I mean, in trying to back her up, like Richie's saying, I don't know if they're going to be able to key her down. Maybe, her best weapon is speed, and maybe going longer is not going to be her deal going as she faces older and gets a little older. Maybe they're going to have to back her up. I think after this race, you're going to find out she might turn herself back into a one-turn sprinter or even a miler.
Yep. I would have to agree with you there, as the filly who was the first one to bring her down was one that certainly, I think, improved from 2 to 3, because she was a good 2-year-old. This is Concrete Rose winning the Edgewood. Yeah,
she went by her first. This was the first time, and then it's Cambier Park's in the back. And listen, she doesn't just go by her. She goes by her very easy. Even on the gallop out, she's moving. So this is a real horse too, and I would not discount her at all, and I think she's going to be very dangerous.
I do. I have a lot of respect for this Rusty Arnold trainee, Julian Leperoux there in the irons. Now, we will have on our show the Suburban and the Dwyer, Grade 3 for the 3-year-olds in the Suburban. Looking forward to that as well, as we will see the comeback of Catholic Boy here in New York, and his return to the main track, to the dirt, after a win in the Dixie Stakes down at Pimlico to kickstart this campaign. And I mean, for me, watching him train, Paul, he's been firing on all cylinders. And let's go back, time machine here, back to Saratoga for the Travers, where he was just fantastic.
Yeah, and brilliantly done by Jonathan Thomas. The Belmont Derby to the Travers probably never will be pulled off again. I still can't believe the way he won the Belmont Derby last year. Got a little unlucky in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He just didn't break out of the gate, lost all chance. Brought him back, like you said, in the Dixie, and he really ran well. The horse that ran second in there had a little bit of trouble, has come back and ran another good second at Churchill Downs. And Richie, this is him working Catholic Boy on the inside, and looks like he's doing very well, no?
Well, I don't think a horse could be doing any better. You know, he was always a big, good-looking, imposing horse, even as a 3-year-old. But now it seems like all the parts really fit. He really came together as a 4-year-old. And I watched this work without knowing the time earlier. And when I watched this, he could have easily have gone in 102 the way he looked. He wasn't doing anything. Javier moved his hands as they got to the wire. He picked it up again, and he went 58-1. And this is a perfect example of not how fast you're going, it's how you're going fast. Well, he was going fast and doing it easily. And I think Catholic Boy's got a real chance in a very wide-open older horse division to step up and take control of this, this division. And Code of Honor could not look better. Another horse that, you know, doesn't look like he's doing a heck of a lot. I thought the rider did a really nice job having him balanced with a real nice long hold. Horse that tends to run kind of stretched out, his head out. But he just looked really, really good to me, reaching out well. And I like what I'm seeing from him. His Derby was terrific. He ran great in the Derby. I like him cutting back in distance a little bit. And it's going to be interesting to see, Maggie. I think he looks fabulous here.
And Meg, I couldn't agree with you more. I love the fact that the way he carried himself in that work, as he'll be looking for a start in the Dwyer, his first start since the Derby.
No, and listen, 3-year-olds can be very, very dangerous this time of year. I always actually like playing 3-year-olds when it comes to Breeders' Cup time because you really never know. And Code of Honor could really like this place, like Belmont, like the distance, and who knows, he might be better than some of these 4-year-olds. So I think he's worth a look.
All right, well, Code of Honor, he will be coming back off a little bit of a break, and he's going out for Hall of Famer Shug McGahee, who has historically always let the horse dictate where he goes. As I've always said, Shug is not a manipulator, he is a developer. That's exactly what he's doing with Code of Honor.
Code of Honor's here, and he's doing excellent. And he's not even the same horse today he was when he ran in the Derby. So we're really looking forward to a summer campaign for him. That was what I had in my mind, and that was perfect with Mr. Ferris. That's what he said he wanted to do. If everything goes right, we're going to start him in the Dwyer on July the 6th, and then hopefully we can use the Saratoga races when they come along and see where it takes us from there. But we're very, very pleased with the way he's done. I think he's not as mature mentally as I would like for him to be, but he's getting that way, and I'm really, really pleased with his progress. You know, I heard him say there's been an objection, and so I said, well, that's not going to happen in the Derby. I'm walking back, so I'm standing there, and I'm trying to watch it on the screen, but I can't see on that thing. And but then later on that night, when I saw some still pictures just back at the hotel, and you know, I said, man, that thing, it was quite a wreck. When we came back and Johnny jumped off of him, he said, I thought he said Mike Smith's horse bolted, but he said Maximum Security bolted. And I was tuned watching mine, and so I didn't really see what all had gone on. And he said whatever he saw, Code of Honor saw too, and said he kind of did like this. And he said, and then I had a hard time getting him going again. I said, well, what'd they see? And he said, I don't know what they saw, but they saw something. You know, whether it was a crowd noise, it wasn't the little red man behind the pole. I'm gonna tell him that right now. But you know what it was, I don't know. But that's one of the things that I was saying earlier about he's still a very mentally immature type of a horse. And once I think with more racing, he's gonna even get better than what he was. So that did have a little bit of an effect. And then he came back over and tightened up on him, and I don't think he liked that either. Well, I'm excited about him, and we're looking forward to July the 6th and kind of get going again, and hopefully we're in the ball game when we get to Saratoga, we'll be able to play again. So, yeah, I'm excited about him, and every day, you know, I come out here, I enjoy watching him train. He's not a pressure horse. Mr. Ferris couldn't be a better guy, and you know, so this is going to be fun.
I love the fact that Shug just says, this is going to be fun. I think when you hit that point in your career like Shug McGahee, it should be fun.
Yeah, I guess, right? And you can see Code of Honor got that breeding of Noble Mission and Dixie Union on the bottom side, so a little obscure breeding as well. But
well, for dirt, I would say,
right?
you know, it feels more like a turf horse, if anything, but he's definitely proven his worth on the main track. As Shug alluded to, looking forward to getting something started so he can participate in those Saratoga Stakes. I'm assuming referring to the Jim Dandy, which is July 27th, and then on to the Travers, which is August 24th. Well, race number 5 is coming up here at Belmont Park, mile and 16th, maiden 50, and 5-2 on a DQ'd horse for the Clement barn last time out, number 8, Crypto Gold.
Yeah, Crypto Gold dropped for the 40 last time and crossed the wire first, but was disqualified from third. And I don't know if you want to take him today as the favorite, considering the racetrack is playing towards horses on the front end, and he comes from way out of it.
New rider on, though, here today. Louis Saez, known to be a little bit more aggressive. Stay tuned. America's Day at the Races returning soon.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop has arrived. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures, and there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guys winning the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearly manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Want a shot at winning $1 million? Who wouldn't? Here's your chance. The new Stay Lucky app from America's Best Racing. First, you've got to download it. It's available on Android and iPhone. Now that you've got it downloaded, just click on the app and set up your account. Once you're logged in, click on this quick tutorial on how to play. Now, you're just about ready to start picking some winners and building a streak. But before you do, a little help for you from some pros. Each week, the best races in the country are loaded onto Stay Lucky. All you gotta do is click Make a Pick, and you've got a fresh menu of races to sort through. You can pick one horse for as many races as you like. The more you play, the faster your streak will grow. As you start stringing together winners, you'll start racking up prizes. Get to that 20 win mark, you're gonna win $1 million. And with the Stay Lucky app, you're always just a click away from everything that's on americasbestracing.net. So, what are you waiting for? Download it, start picking winners, and stay lucky.
That was Dan Torchman, who heads America's Best Racing, as they are one of our proud sponsors here on America's Day at the Races. Welcome back, Maggie Wolfendale, Paul LoDuca, Richard Migliore, who is in the paddock as horses are getting ready to make their way to the track. I guess we'll check in with Mig trackside. Oh, we're going to check in with him now, because I want to know who looks best down there, Mig.
Well, it's kind of, you know, the 10 horse caught my eye. It's a horse that's maybe you'd like to see. I thought the first race he might have moved him up a bit, you know, fitness-wise, and I think, but one more to really put him exactly where he needs to be. Looks good. but a horse that showed good speed first time, and he needs to be fit to run the whole way that way. That's number 10, excuse me, Whiskey Is My Wine. For me, it's Wine Is My Whiskey. Then 9-horse Deft from the Rudy Rodriguez barn really looked good under Joel Rosario here in the paddock. Got a little bit of a sweat on, which I like to see on the warm days. And the 8 Crypto Gold, very logical from the Christophe Clement barn.
Mig, thank you. As we'll kick off a post parade here, AI Initiative for Mercan Cantermasi and Jose Lascano.
I guess well named, because I think initiative means that Jose Lascano needs to take the initiative and maybe go to the lead from the rail.
Number 3 is Azadine for Naipaul Chatterpaul and Hector Diaz.
0 for 14, 3 second-place finishes, and those were a while ago under Chad Brown's care.
Off a bit of a layoff in first-time gelding is his Kieran McLaughlin trainee, Rajiv Mirage in the irons.
Sort of the wild card horse. They paid $250,000 for him, and they gelded him. We'll see what happens.
Makes saddling easy when your other horse is right next to you in the paddock, as Kieran McLaughlin also sends out Spindletop.
This horse may be dangerous. That's probably why he's getting played at 8-1 right on his morning line, because speed has been good so far on the turf.
A former Clement runner to the inside of a current one, Dream Master, makes his first start for Carlos Martin and Mike Luzzi.
Yeah, Carlos Martin going in Collinsworth Thoroughbred Racing for $40,000 on the son of Pioneer of the Nile.
Crypto Gold is your current favorite at 2-1.
Yeah, crossed the wire first last time, but was DQ'd and placed third on May 11th, 2019. And this went by Mr. Evans.
Another one that was DQ'd in his last start. Rudy Rodriguez trains number 9, Deft.
It was behind Digital Footprint, a nice runner. I get it. But those DQ'd from 3rd to 5th, but Joel will get aboard for the first time.
Good speed from the inside last time. We'll see how much speed he has this time around. As number 10 is Whiskey Is My Wine, a second-time starter.
Yeah, you make a good point, whether they're going to rate this horse or not. He got bet first time out at 6-1. And from the 10 hole, what is Jose Ortiz going to do?
Send. As number 9 is Deft here. Or, excuse me, number 8 is Crypto Gold. And I mean, again, we saw the previous rider just really stay committed to the inside, where sometimes you're going to run into traffic trouble. And boy, he did last time out, Polly, as he just kind of bowled his way through traffic and a deserved DQ.
It was a deserved DQ. He was down on the rail, and when he was trying to get to a certain spot, you're going to see him. He's down here on the rail. He's going to try to get to a spot. And when he tries to get to the spot, he's going to impede the horse right to the outside of him. He could have just stayed on the rail, but watch him try to cut right here, and he impedes the other horse. I mean, he cost the 3 a placing. The 3 almost went down in the race, and you can see the 3 after this keeps on moving forward. I mean, so was the 10 best? Yes, but you just can't almost knock horses over. Now you get Luis Saez aboard, and I can understand why the horse is the favorite. The problem is, are we getting the same racetrack that we've gotten today, which has been 2 horses that have gone pretty fast on the front end and have held?
Well, you go back to this horse's first 2 efforts, and he was actually closer to the pace than what he was last time. So it's not like he's a horse that is completely devoid of speed. I mean, look at his first start; he was beaten by Digital Age. So this is a horse that has some promise, and I think Luis Saez with that rider change is an improvement, and we'll see this horse just a little bit closer.
Yeah, he could. Luis a little bit more aggressive than the guys he's had before. You're right.
All right. Well, Mig is standing by trackside and having a look at these horses out on the racetrack. Mig?
Well, Maggie, you guys have touched on all of the logical contenders, and they all look good. There's really nothing negative I could say about anybody, but horse that stood out, really caught my eye as he galloped off, and he galloped up off to the far turn, or excuse me, the clubhouse turn, would be the 2 AI Initiative. This horse looked fantastic. I love Jose Lascano climbing aboard here. This horse can put himself in the game. He doesn't have to be far back. Gets an inside post, big advantage out of that little dog leg of the 1/16 inner turf, the little chute there, starting on the outside of the main track. And that's the horse I'm going to pick. I think the horse has a chance on paper, but he really won me over from a physical perspective in the warm-up. Number 2, AI Initiative. And full disclosure, he's by Artie Schiller. I'm kind of a favorite of Artie. I mean, he's one of my favorites for sure. And then the 5-horse is first-time gelding on a spree from the Kieran McLaughlin barn. Talked with assistant trainer Joe Lee and asked if the gelding had made much of a difference with this horse attitude-wise. He says really helped him a lot. Just really doing everything properly now, and they like what they see. And there's a number of reasons why they'll geld a horse. Sometimes it's to get their attention. Sometimes they're a bit stutter, so they just won't focus. And sometimes it's just to lighten them up a little bit. But he thinks the gelding really helped this horse, so it'll be interesting to see if it improves him enough to put him in the picture here, Maggie.
Mig, thank you. And on a spree, I mean, it's only his second start here. First was in a maiden special weight. Didn't do much running that day at Gulfstream Park. But you're dealing with, a completely different configuration of a turf course. He has been training here at Belmont, so that's a feather in his cap, and comes back as a new gelding and a maiden claimer.
Yeah, and Mig makes such a great point. And I know you know this too, that when they geld horses, a lot of people think, oh, these horses are crazy. No, it does not mean that. Sometimes they put on a lot of weight, and it's hard for them to stop putting on weight, so they geld them, and it helps them, like he said, lighten up. And I've had a couple of my horses that I've owned that had to be gelded because, you know, just too much weight, and they end up turning into tanks and turn into sprinters.
Right, and it's an easier load on their on their legs.
Exactly.
You know, you'll come out with a sounder horse, and two, it helps them get a little more push from behind.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's the case. But number 10 is the also a second-time starter in Whiskey Is My Wine. Showed great speed last time out, where he debuted in that Crypto Gold race, and just came up a bit late in the final stages.
Yeah, you make a good point. The thing is, too, is Jorge Abreu comes from the Chad Brown school, which is take back and make one run. Most of his horses do the same thing. This horse showed speed first time, which is unusual. So I'm wondering now, as you can see, Jose's getting this Gelded Son of Declaration Award to take a look at all of his surroundings. Maybe they take him back and maybe not take him back, but lay him like third or fourth and try to get him behind horses and get him to chase horses instead of in front of horses.
And probably a play the break kind of situation, as Whiskey Is My Wine is also stepping up a little bit, as some of these horses are, such as Crypto Gold. Not much difference though in the maiden 40 and maiden 50s. But you and Mig both landed on number 2 AI Initiative, who I get. I mean, his turf races, he's certainly run fast enough, especially when he's on a firm turf course. My problem is that as much respect as I have for these connections, they don't win very often on the turf.
Yeah, they win more on the dirt, right? They're 0 for 7 first time on the turf, or bringing a horse from the turf. But they're very good when it comes to the dirt racing. I like the horse just because of the way the racetrack's been playing a little bit. I know Spindletop will probably be the horse to catch, maybe the 6 in here. We'll see where that horse goes. But like I say, Crypto Gold, the 8, who I did use, can he win again? So many times you see horses cross the wire first, then they don't come back and win, and the race course could be against them. We'll see what happens early in this race, whether Jose Ortiz sends the 10, or Lascano sends the 2, or somebody else goes. You could even see like the 5. Karen McLaughlin's horse, first time gelding with Rajiv. It's going to be very interesting what happens the first quarter of a mile of this race.
Well, don't forget, if you want to play the races, always sign up for a NYRA Bets account, and you'll bet 200, get 200 as our special promotion, as they are loading in the gate here for this maiden claimer, going the 1 1/16 on the inner turf course. As we heard Mig say before, they start nearly on the inside rail of the dirt course, so it's a kind of a straight, kind of weird dog leg kind of thing going into that first turn, as we are nearly loaded for this one, which kicks off the late pick 4, and that means we throw it up to the man, to the myth, to the legend, who is nursing a broken pinky toe. But that, I know, at least he can still call the races, so it doesn't affect his voice. That is Larry Collmus. Larry, take it away.
And they're all in line. They're off. AI Initiative is sent out of there from the inside. Azadine's got early foot as well. These two out to the front. And then it's on a spree away, running in third, joined on the outside by Deft, who's now moving closer to the leaders. Spindletop is next. A break of another 2 back to Whiskey Is My Wine on the outside of Crypto Gold. And trailing the field is Dream Master as they head on to the backstretch, where Deft has been sent to the lead here by Joel Rosario through a 23.57 quarter, taking the initiative over AI Initiative, who sits in second. Break of another 4 back to Azadine, third by 3. And then it's on a spree, Spindletop on the outside, Crypto Gold, followed by Whiskey Is My Wine, and Dream Master is a good 15 behind as they continue up the backstretch at a good pace here. 46.02, a very sharp half mile for Deft, who leads the way into the turn by 2.5. AI Initiative second by 3.5 lengths. In a scattered field, Azadine is in third. Crypto Gold is side by side on the far turn with On a Spree, and they're 10 lengths behind. Unhurried behind them is Whiskey Is My Wine, and they're coming toward the top of the stretch here, 3/4 in 109.57. And let's see if Deft can keep on rolling, turning for home with a 6-length lead on the competition. Whiskey Is My Wine has come on the scene into second on the outside and has a furlong to come and get this front runner. And then it's On a Spree, followed by Crypto Gold. Whiskey Is My Wine is coming on the outside of Deft, and Whiskey Is My Wine rolls on by. Wins it going away over Deft, and then it was On a Spree and Crypto Gold.
Joel Rosario tried to take it to him, laying down the gauntlet with number 9, Deft, but Whiskey Is My Wine, change of tactics this time, and hey, paid off, Paulie.
Yeah, it really did, and Jose Ortiz did a good job not panicking. You can see he's about 5th or 6th or so. He's going to wheel to the outside, and listen, when you're going 109 and you're a maiden 50, it's going a little too fast. He almost pulled off. It just shows you that this racetrack almost carried Deft.
Yeah.
A maiden 50 going 109 and change, and the 10 just got by Whiskey Is My Wine. But it was great for the 10 because the 10 didn't want to be on the lead last time. It's not the way Jorge Abreu trains his horses at all. Got a nice run from off the pace, and you get a nice price at 4-1.
And again, we see a decent upset with Crypto Gold finishing 4th, just kind of spinning his wheels down the lane. But as you said, this turf course just really didn't play into his favor, as it seems as though speed and being close to it is awfully good. As we will take a break here on America's Day at the races. Stay tuned. We will have official prices for you. Whiskey Is My Wine over Deft here in race number 5.
Our summer cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. The plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NYRABets.com.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With yearlings bringing up to $650,000 and his first crop 2-year-old selling up to $430,000, the sky is the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the races, and you're checking out the backside of beautiful Belmont Park. Doesn't get any better than that, as we are brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. And checking out the winner, Whiskey Is My Wine, returns $10.80. And again, the upsets continue here, as we do have that monster pick 6 carryover, over $3 million in the pool. So it'll be exciting when we get to that last leg in race number 8. Who is alive? As we will check in with Richard Migliore, who is down in the winner's circle with winning part owner Michael Dubb.
Yeah, always happy to be in the winner's circle here with Michael Dubb. And Michael, you have such a balanced stable. You have from Grade 1 winners to maiden claimers. How do you balance it all?
I guess diversity is the key, not to have all your eggs in one basket. And so, you know, we've talked about this before. We try to claim some, we buy some privately, we buy them as yearlings, we buy them as 2-year-olds. This was a 2-year-old in training sale horse that had a lot of physical issues. You can see the horse is 4. and just breaking its maiden. So, you know, patience is the key to the game, and letting the trainers do their own thing and come along at their speed, not trying to push them.
Well, you say patience. Patience is a key, letting a horse develop, but also today a little more patient tack instead of going to lead. He came from off the pace. Was that the plan?
No. Jose is, you know, a very smart jockey. He breaks the steps slow. He doesn't rush the horse up. Fortunately, they go fast up front, and we get to pick up the pieces, and we have a lot of happy people in the winner's circle.
Michael, it's always fun to win, but we're getting close to Saratoga. Is it more special to win up there?
Absolutely. I've been going to Saratoga since I was 17 years old. I never thought I'd be in the position I'm in now of having horses to race up there and winning races. So every day I go there, it's kind of a pinch myself experience.
Well, it's always great to see you in the winner's circle. Congratulations. And guys, a guy who makes it look easy balancing all the horses he has, but he manages them so well.
As well as balancing many other things that Michael does for the backstretch workers. He created Anna House for the backstretch workers' children, the dorm work that he does, and not to mention, he's a pretty successful builder.
Yeah, obviously one of the biggest builders on Long Island and all throughout the New York tri-state area, and he's on the NYRA board.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, pick 6, follow along as Whiskey Is My Wine, a 1080 winner. So we have a $9 winner at 34.10. I mean, wow.
Pretty
I'm
tough.
bad at math. So
Yeah,
what's it looking to pay?
It was $450 on the pick 3. I don't see any singles going along. If you could beat Rudy Rod here at 8-5, wide open group of 2-year-olds here. I don't really see any singles in the 7th and 8th race. The final race, Maggie, I think the favorite's going to be 4-1, and in the 7th race, the favorite's going to be like 7-2. So it's tough sledding. If you're alive, man, good luck. Really, good luck.
Absolutely. As race number 6, this is always fun, included in a sequence, a 2-year-old racing, but actually most of these have experience, as we're checking out Justin Vision in his last start, in which he was an entry mate of the eventual winner for Rudy Rodriguez. And it's funny, Paul, I actually liked him a little bit more than his stablemate here, and he went out and set down some pretty solid fractions, but you could see how leg weary he gets, and he's just run down late here.
Yeah, the horse on the inside, the 3 even passes him. Like, he's just getting really tired. He gets really, really tired. And you're wondering, okay, at 5 furlongs, is he having an issue breathing when you're slowing down that much? But he went very fast early. 22 for a 2-year-old first time out on the button. 22 on the button, almost sub 22 is really sprinting early, and it took his toll late. So look for him to be a little bit better today.
I would have to think so. It has that fitness into him. And two, the Italian-American, who we saw that fast closing second there up the rail, he finished well in his next start in stakes company against open horses. So Justin Vision, not the favorite. It's actually Rudy's other horse, Bull of Byron, who is getting blinkers on and finishing behind Mission Rapid Up, who looks to be a promising one for trainer Bruce Brown. Well, as I've said, next Saturday, it's the Stars and Stripes Festival. It's a great send-off here for Belmont Park, as we will head up to Saratoga after that. Looking forward to the Belmont Derby and the Belmont Oaks, which kicks off that turf triple. So we'll see the second leg in Saratoga and the third leg back here at Belmont in the Jockey Club, Derby and Oaks, as also Dwyer, John Nayrud, and the Suburban. So looking forward to that. And that Nayrud is a Breeders' Cup win, and you're in. Stay tuned. You're watching America's Day at the Races. 2-year-olds coming up next at Belmont Park.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearling. And this year, his juveniles have sold up to $375,000. Success on the track success in the ring, flattered, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Whether you have Derby dreams or Midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there. That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearly manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Next, on America's Day at the Races, it's a turf sprint. In today's 7th, the Belmont is 3rd time off the bench, the Charm. Morning line favorite, Sadie Lady. Jaded Lady could try and keep her company up front early as she makes the 2nd start of her 3-year-old campaign. And with a Mother Goose coming up this weekend, we'll look back at the rich history of this race and some of the winners who've gotten their picture taken, including Ruffian back in 1975. Of course, last year was Midnight Bisou. Who will it be this year? Our show brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Lovely weather on this Wednesday afternoon as you take a look at some of the Triple Crown winners in the history of this sport, including 2 in the last 4 years. Of course, this year we had a different winner in each race of our Triple Crown series. Sir Winston, who kind of surprised the other horse for Marcassi off the trail for a little bit. We're not going to see him this summer, but it's going to be fun to see what does happen in this 3-year-old picture as we kind of move along, get into the Jim Dandy and the Travers coming up at Saratoga.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to clear a lot of things up when it comes to who is the best 3-year-old this year. Is Maximum Security, his hiccup in the Pegasus, will he come back in the Haskell? And then obviously the Summer Derby and the Travers is going to be a giant, giant race. And where do these horses go? Do they go to the Ohio Derby? Do they go to the West Virginia Derby? Do they want to come to the Travers or the Haskell? With all the uncertainty going on in the 3-year-old division, these trainers are going to have decisions to make and connections.
For those just joining us on MSG Plus, Fox Sports Prime Ticket, good to have you with us. I'm Greg Wolf. That is 4-time Major League All-Star Paul LoDuca. We also have Richard Migliore and Maggie Wolfendale with us this afternoon as you take a look at track conditions brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on pests gone. The main track is fast. Turf course is firm for today's action, and we came into today with a $500,000 carryover of the Pick 6. It grew to, what, just over 3?
Yes,
million in the pool as we take a look at the races that we have coming up on the show, races 6 through 8. Here at Belmont, we're 15 minutes away from the 6th race, and you can bet all the races we show you each and every day on the program by getting started with NYRA Bets. Bet $200, and you'll get a $200 new member bonus when you use the promo code LIVE at sign up. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime with NYRABets.com or download the NYRA Bets app. All right, let's set the stage for race 6 here coming up at 5 furlongs. New York Breds, maiden special weight. We have a 6-horse field. Everyone between 2-1 and 7-1 on the board, but the favorite down inside, one of a couple with some experience in this race for Rudy Rodriguez.
Yeah, and you're starting to wonder, is that going to be the key in here? The other Rudy Rodriguez in here is the 6, Justin Vision, who is taking money as well. He ran into a next out winner, or a horse that ran pretty well next time out, but he's taking money right into a stablemate, and the one is getting blinkers on. They paid $250,000 for this Son of Byron, so he obviously had some promise at the sales. See if you have some promise in the afternoon.
Let's get a Paddock report, see how they look downstairs with Richard Migliore. Mig.
well-behaved group of 2-year-olds so far, Greg, really making a nice impression. The 3-horse, Mitzrayim, making his second career start. Man, I love what I'm seeing from this horse. He is the spitting image of his sire, Cairo Prince. I mean, it could be the same horse. He really stamped him. I think this horse tightened up a lot from his one start where he encountered trouble at the break. He adds Lasix. He looks ultra sharp. He looks ultra fit. I think the 3 is going to take a huge step forward in here for trainer Mark Hennig. I love what I see there. Just a note about the 2-horse. That's Our Destiny. He ran once, showed very high speed, 21 and change, 45, and tired. He looks fitter. He's a bit of a sway back. I've never really seen a sway back that didn't possess some speed. Not the most well put together horse, but I just thought it was interesting with that sway back that he showed that speed first time, and maybe he'll carry it a little bit further today, guys.
Mig, thanks. Yeah, he gets Lasix this afternoon, so potentially may have bled a little bit in that race. He does have a bullet work coming back, 48 and 2 move since that debut effort at the end of May.
Yeah, and you know, I think one of the horses in here, like when you look at some of these horses, you're starting to wonder why, right? Like we look at the 1, you're like, okay, not a good race, first time out. 2, not a good race. 3, not a good race. 6, best race, right? But was it a great race? When you go back and you look at it, you're like, oh my God, the horse was crawling for the wire. So now you point to the 2 first-time starters, and they're not really getting bet. So do you go back to the 1 here in Sterling Racing and Luis Saez? It's a tough call, no?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what we're going to get.
Right?
You know, any of these horses who have started could take a big move forward,
100%.
certainly. I even thought the sway back Mig was talking about, I think that horse has a big look in here. The 2-horse at 7-1 as we look at one of the first-time starters. And we thought this horse would take more attention than he is. This is not a great sign. He appears to be a little cold on the board at 4-1. He was the morning line favorite.
Yeah, this one out of a Cactus Ridge mare. Cactus Ridge, owned by one of our good friends, Toby Keith. You don't see that here that much. You see a lot of Cactus Ridges over in Arkansas. But this one, son of Street Boss, they paid $120,000. Been working okay in the morning. Castellano, Jonathan Thomas. I've heard that the horse has been okay. And looking at the rest of this group, why can't one of them? I'm surprised the 4 and the 5, the 2 first-time starters, are not getting played at all in here, considering what the others have done.
See if some late money comes in. Jose Ortiz, he'll be on board the 5, all guns blazing, but there's a look at Justin Vision to the outside, another Rudy Rodriguez horse, another one with experience, was in a different race. I didn't love that race. This horse showed speed, had a 3-length lead in the stretch, gets run down, and the winner of that race, Sky of Hook, was another Rudy Rodriguez runner, only put up a 51 buyer in that race.
The Italian-American come back and run second, right? Somewhere in that area. Visually, it's not great. I mean, I get it. It might win this race because it's the best race on paper, but when you watch the horse was begging for the wire at 5 furlongs. But 22 flat is blazing. Not 22 and 4, 22 flat. Almost went sub 22. So you can forgive him for a little bit for faltering late, you know?
2-1 co-favorite on the board, the bookend Rudy Rodriguez runners. And, you know, back to that first time of the 4, the Salt Breaker. We'll see if this number comes down at all. The Dam actually won her debut. She was actually stakes placed in New York bred stakes races. And she's had 2 other foals who both won as 2-year-olds. So that's a positive sign.
That is a positive sign. Like you keep wanting to point to one of these first-time starters and go, which one's going to run? What do you do with the 3? A horse that was not completely dismissed at the window first time out in that same race with Justin Vision, but just didn't run a step. Like, didn't pick up his feet. I've watched that replay like 2 or 3 times. Steadied a tiny bit at the start and then just nothing.
Well, that's the one that really caught the attention of Mig's eye downstairs, saying it looked exactly like his daddy, Cairo Prince, talking about the 3. Mitzrayim. And we'll see if with a better start, and there's the 3 again, with a better beginning here, benefit of getting that debut effort out of the way, now gets Lasix for start number 2. Could be the difference here. And I was surprised. I thought this horse would actually be a bigger price morning line, but 8-1 and actually taking some play down to 6-1.
I could see it, right? I mean, when I first looked at this race, I thought, okay, maybe the 5 is a single. Remember I told you we were inside, and then the board's telling me the horse is dead as can be. Like, the 6 is the one that's confusing me to 2-1. Really is. No? I'm not confusing you?
Why? So, well, we would think the 6 is going to battle early. We know the 6 wants to go to the front, but it looks like you have the other Rudy Rodriguez horse inside who showed speed as well, now puts blinkers on. With the rail, adding blinkers, you'd think wants to go as well. But you're going to have the 2 barnmates battle each other, and then you also have Our Destiny, who looks like he wants to show some speed. We could have a pretty wicked pace up front.
Yeah, you could, but the thing is, like, I don't know if any of these 2-year-olds are going to want to pass each other. We'll figure that out here in a little bit, but yeah, that would be interesting to see. Who can get to the front end of this group. The 1 showed a lot of speed, 21 and 4, and is putting blinkers on, so that could be even more dangerous speed. But you make a good point. The outside runner for Rudy Rod was blazing fast too, so what is going to give here?
Here comes our post parade. As we approach the 7-minute mark to post, we're going to kick things off with the inside Rudy Rodriguez runner, the son of Bayern. This horse again went for $250,000 at auction, adding blinkers today. And we'll have Luis Saez aboard.
Yeah, and showed speed first time out. Didn't break that great, but showed blazing speed. Better break today. Probably the horse to catch.
7-1 on this one right here, Our Destiny. He showed speed in his first out effort. His son of Freud. He'll get Lasix for start number 2. He has a bullet drill since.
You're right. I mean, bullet drill after bullet drill. Lasix showed speed. Speed Rider and Mike Luzzy, too.
Mitzrayim. Many expecting better. It would appear here. Second time out. Son of Cairo Prince. He'll get Lasix, and Jose Lezcano gets the return call. We're going to see him here in a moment.
Yeah, bad beginning in his debut, this gray son of Cairo Prince. And he didn't get dismissed at the window. He was 9-1. Steadied at the start, and that probably did him in. So treat him as a first-time starter, more of a charcoal gray.
Did my best. Larry Collmus helping me with the pronunciation here. Mitzrayim, I believe, is how we pronounce that. Assault Breaker. Here's the first-time starter. This was the morning line favorite for Jonathan Thomas. Javier Castellano aboard.
Yeah, bullet drill 3 back. Comes in with some nice works. $120,000 Keeneland purchase. Right now at 9-2.
All guns blazing. The Dam never won. First full, though, actually did win the debut. It came on turf.
Out of the Dam, 1 gun. Sequel Racing. Nicely named here. Jose Ortiz looking for back-to-back W's.
And favoritism outside to this Rudy Rodriguez runner. Had a 3-length lead in the stretch at Belmont back on May the 10th. Got run down.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to watch because I can't even believe the horse that ran second from up the rail. But, yeah, that was well clear. And when you watch that replay, it leaves you wondering why he's the favorite.
3 horses with a race under their belt. 3 making their debut. And standing by with a trainer of one of the first-time starters. Let's go downstairs to the MIG.
Thanks, Greg. Here with Jonathan Thomas has the 4 Assault Breaker, first-time starter here. And how's he been doing, and what do you expect from him in his debut?
He's been doing well. I mean, we've been a little soft on him from a preparation standpoint. You know, I'd call this more of an educational outing than you know, expecting him to win first time out. There's a little turf in the pedigree, a little turf to him physically. But, you know, we get him started and get some experience.
At least have a race under his belt, maybe get a turf sprint in Saratoga.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or breeze him for the next 5 weeks, and we're here, and, you know, it's a great track, and, you know, look, we're here to participate, so.
Well, he's starting on the dirt. He may eventually prefer turf. You have a horse that's proven to be very good on both surfaces. We're talking about Catholic Boy, who had a sensational workout the other day.
He did. It was, you know, we were looking for kind of a somewhat stout breeze 2 weeks out from the Suburban, and, you know, off a bit of layoff, and you know, he kind of defied expectation from a time and style perspective, and you know, I didn't know what to make of it originally because I never had a horse work that fast and that well, but he came out of it great, so I guess we got to take it as a big positive.
I mean, what struck me, because I watched this work and not knowing the time, it didn't look to me like he was going that fast, and it falls under the heading, it's not how fast you're going, it's how you're going fast.
I would agree with that, but I had the opposite experience because I knew how fast he was going. And then I appreciated it after the fact once I saw the style. And most importantly, when he got back to the barn, I mean, he cooled out really fast and well. So I thought it was great.
Okay, and there may not be an answer to this question, but he's so proficient on turf, so proficient on dirt. And he doesn't run like a typical turf horse because he kind of makes his own race. He runs the entire race. Do you think he's better on one surface than the other?
It's hard to answer. I mean, really, his body work on the turf is almost perfect, with the exception of the Breeders' Cup juvenile turf, which, you know, he's barely beaten. But this year he's a stronger horse, and maybe you know, he's just a little bit better on the dirt this year. We'll know a lot more here next week, but I love how he's training on the dirt right now.
Well, it certainly leaves you a lot of options and a lot of good decisions to have to make.
It's an incredible opportunity to have a horse like this. We're very blessed.
Jonathan, thanks so much for taking the time. Best of luck here.
Thanks.
Guys?
Mig, thanks. Dream horse, Grade 1 winner on turf, Grade 1 winner on dirt, and we're going to see him next on dirt right here on Stars and Stripes Day in the Suburban. But just incredible to have all those options with a horse who's so talented on either surface.
It really is. I mean, he's probably one of our horses that we all are all sort of root for in horse racing. He's really a cool horse, and Jonathan's done such a great job with him. Grade 1 winner on turf, and then goes on and goes to Saratoga and does his deal on dirt. I'm excited to watch him run, man. I can't wait to see him run next. And he was so professional in the Dixie. I think he'll be professional on dirt, too, in the Suburban.
July 6th when we get to see him back on dirt here, coming up on the Stars and Stripes Festival. And there's Jonathan Thomas's first-time starter. So 3-1, third choice on the board, Assault Breaker, son of Street Boss. Went for $120,000 at the Keeneland November yearling sale of 2017. And he has been working here at Belmont. You see that bullet gate drill back on June the 2nd.
You like that one, don't you? Cactus Ridges can be on the bottom side, I guess. Very precocious. And a horse that was 2-1 on the morning line, now starting to creep down a little bit at 3-1. Odds starting to shrink together a little bit. The 3 taking sneaky money, is that me?
Yeah, no, I mean, we talked about Mitzrayim, and Mig said he loved this horse the way he looked down in the paddock. And, you know, take away that troubled beginning from his debut effort. He'll get Lasix here for start number 2. Really, anyone could step up and improve here in this race. It's a tough one. It was a tough one to have part of the pick 6 sequence. Let's go downstairs to Mig for more.
Well, Greg, my impression of the 3 horse has not changed whatsoever. I think he looks outstanding. He looked outstanding in the paddock. He looked outstanding on the racetrack. Just as you can see, the 5 horses being examined on the behind the gate by the attending veterinarian, Dr. Verderosa, and he is going to be a late scratcher, removing the tack now, Jose Ortiz. And this is one of the protocols to make sure that these horses are as safe as possible, that there's an attending vet at the gate. If the rider feels something he doesn't like or the vet sees something he doesn't like, they will take the horse out of the race. Better to err on the side of caution than to make a horse that's unsound race. And New York Racing Association does it better than anybody else. They're on top of it. And there'll always be another day if the horse is fine. But I could see warming up that the attending vet was keeping an eye on the 5, all guns blazing. And just another stopgap to make sure that these horses are only in tip-top condition when they leave the starting gate. So certainly I applaud the attending veterinarian. And again, the 3 horse still my pick. Looks great on the track. Love what I see from him. So we'll see how it shakes out here. There might be a slight delay while they get the 5 horse all guns blazing off the racetrack. But the 3's on his toes for sure, guys. You can see he's a little pumped up. Not in a bad way. Just kind of knows why he's here this time.
Mig, thank you. So, yeah, great job by this NYRA crew. Mig said they were keeping an eye on this 5 throughout. Didn't like what they saw, so we're going to wait to see All Guns Blazing make his debut. Another afternoon, always safety first here. So out comes the 5. We're left with a 5-horse field.
Yeah, and what does it do? You don't not really know because it was a first-time starter. Now the 4 is left to be the only first-time starters. So is that where you land? Right now, money's starting to go towards their 3rd choice, but Bull of Bayern still your favorite, although the 6, Stablemate, is closing the gap a little bit when it comes to that.
It's going to be interesting to see early on, pace-wise, because we think the 1, the 2, the 6 all kind of want to battle up front, and we don't even know the running style of the 4. horse, the Salt Breaker.
True. Yeah, 3 furlong work, I would think, somewhat quick. You look at all the other horses in here, they showed speed besides the 3 first time out.
And again, we're looking at already in terms of a pick 6. It started with a beaten favorite in Applicator. Huge price in that second leg in race number 4 with discretionary mark. I want to say 16-1. So if you're alive to this point, still a long way to go, I know.
True.
Even though we got a 5-horse field here, but anyone could improve and
well,
step up.
Well, because the next 2 races are just very tough. Like whether you singled the 9 in the next race, Sadie Lady or not. I think a lot of people maybe went there. Then you got to go to the 8th race, Fusai, the 3. I don't know. Still 3 tough races to go, and you got 2 Rudy rods here. And if you got the 5 was scratched, and you did single that first time starter, you are on the 1 now.
Yeah, if you happen to have the 5, for now, 8-5 on the Rail Runner, so you go to the favorite in terms of your multi-race wagers. But different ownership groups, both from the Rudy Rodriguez barn,
yes.
But we could see them battle up front.
You think so?
I would. Blinkers on and you have the rail, and you showed speed first time out.
I mean, if the 4 can run a step, he should win this race. I mean, the 1 faced 5 rivals, the 2, 5, 3, 6, and the 6, 6 rivals. And they all didn't run a step. Besides the outside horse.
Loading up, so 8-5 favorite. Bull of Bayern. Looks like he will be your favorite and a good chance, especially the way this 5 furlongs is configured here at Belmont. If you can be inside, open up early, you have a big advantage.
Yes, you do.
Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing for the call, Larry Collmus.
Salt Breaker, the first-time starter in the group, goes into the starting gate, and Justin Vision will be the last to load here. We've got one of them acting up in the gate. It looks like it's Mitzrayim, number 3. Rider getting off of Our Destiny.
We saw Mike Luzzy hop off of the 2, Our Destiny. And now it looks like even Luis Saez has stepped off, or now maybe has gone back on the inside horse, Bull of Iron, but they've backed out the 2. Not taking anybody else out at this point, but the 2's going to get looked over here.
Yeah, you can see Mike Luzzy bending over a little bit, just trying to catch his breath. You could tell he's banged up just a little bit. Might have one of those, Charlie horses, but are they taking the tag off? I think they're scratching this horse. Yep, they just scratched the 2.
Okay, there it is. So 2's coming out. 2 late scratches here in the 6th race. We already had the 5, a first-time starter, who was scratched just a little while ago. Now Mike Luzzy and his mount. Our Destiny comes out of the race.
Your longest shot on the board at 8-1. Now you got to decide on who do you want to be the favorite. If you had the 2 and the 5 in your pick 4s, pick 5s, pick 6s, the 6 is 2-1. The 1 is 9-5, and we'll see when the 2 gets taken out where the money distributes.
And they're going to move all these numbers over. So this will take a brief moment here, but you saw Mike Luzzy go into that ambulance just to get checked over. Look, he may have banged his knee.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what he hurt, but it looks like he was limping a little bit.
Yeah, it's not good considering he's got replacement. One of them is a replacement hip and a knee, and hopefully he's okay. Hopefully the horse is okay.
But he was walking under his own power, so that's a good sign. And here's the horse that's going to head back to the barn. Son of Freud. Let's head downstairs, get an update from Richard Migliore.
Yeah, Greg, it was good to see Mike walk on his own power to the ambulance. A lot of times what happens when a horse acts up like that in the gate, your feet take the worst of it. Between the stirrups and the side of the gate, even though it's padded, the stirrups are made of metal and your feet get caught and kind of get really banged up. So it looked to me like it was probably nothing serious, but something that probably just smarted a heck of a lot. Think about stubbing your toe in the middle of the night and then compound that by about 10.
No thanks.
No, thank
we all
you,
know
Uncle.
how painful that is. Let's send it upstairs. Favorite, again, down on the inside. That's Bull of Byron for Rudy Rodriguez, the 1. Here's Larry Collmus with the call. Race 6 from Belmont.
And just one left to go into the starting gate here as Justin Vision will come up to the outside stall. 8-5 right now on Bull of Byron. Justin Vision is at 9-5 odds at this point, and they're all in line. They're off. And it's Bull of Byron and Mitzrayim with some early foot. On their outside, Justin Vision, and the trailer is Assault Breaker. So they make their way into the turn, where it is going to be Bull of Byron to lead the way, but with company from Mitzrayim. And on their outside, Justin Vision. The 3 of them now 3/4 of a length apart, and a 4-length gap back to Assault Breaker, and Javier Castellanos trying to get him to keep up as they make their way around the far turn. 22.12 that opening quarter mile. So it is Bull of Byron and Justin Vision. Mitzrayim a length and a half behind them. Javier Castellanos really been motivating Assault Breaker at the back of the field as they come to the top of the stretch. Bull of Byron off the turn in front. Opens up some daylight here. Leads at 2.5. Mitzrayim is second. On the outside is Justin Vision, and Assault Breaker has made progress through on the inside. But Bull of Byron has the lead close to home and has a 5-length lead, and Bull of Byron's got it. Luis Saez gearing down Bull of Byron as they come onto the wire 6 lengths in head of Assault Breaker. And Mitzrayim was third.
Bull of Byron dictates pace early on and takes it to this group, completely geared down late for an easy win.
Yeah, and he helps all the backers too because he ends up being your favorite at 8-5. So if you had the 2R Destiny and the 5 All Guns Blazing, you get the favorite home here at 8-5.
Luis Saez aggressive early from that inside post position. Got the jump on this field, and in the stretch just opens up here. 58-1 final time.
You can see the 4 coming up the rail, Assault Breaker. Castellano was really urging this horse from way back. He was sort of lazy in the beginning. Then he started going a little bit. But this wasn't the greatest group as they stopped the clock in 58 and change. We've seen a couple of horses work in 58 and change.
So Bull of Byron for Rudy Rodriguez, Sterling Racing, Luis Saez. Pretty easy time of things, especially with a couple late scratches here in the 6th at Belmont. We're going to take a break in the action. We'll have the story of Mattress Mac, Jim McInvale, when we come back. Stay tuned.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop has arrived. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NYRABets.com.
Back on America's Day at the Races, Fox Sports 2, MSG Plus, and Prime Ticket. Good to have you with us. Greg Wolf, Paul LoDuca, Richard Migliore, Maggie Wolfendale with you on a gorgeous Wednesday afternoon in Bull of Bayern. Second time out for Rudy Rodriguez. Gate to wire, takes it to him early and pulls away late.
Yeah, congratulations. Son of Byron at the Holy Bull Mare, Holy Dazzle, Sterling Racing LLC, Luis Saez, Rudy Rodriguez. The blinkers went on. It resulted in a W. Now 1 for 2 lifetime. Refund on the try in the Superfecta because of the late 2 scratches of the 2 and 5. That's why you see multiple doubles. But if you have the 2 and 5, you get them in the pick 4 and the pick 5 and the pick 6, but you get consolation pick 3s.
Take a look at this $500,000 carryover. The pool grew to nearly $3.4 million. And discretionary mark knocked a whole bunch of people out. And if you're alive to this point, we hope you have some coverage, because it does not get easy these last couple of legs. This 7th race here at 6 furlongs on the turf. New York bred entry-level Allowance and Sadie Lady. 3rd off the layoff, showed speed last starts. We'll try and finish today.
Yeah, look for her and Quest Tech, the 2, the 6, and the 9 to go at it early, along with Overtime Olivia, the 4, who's got some cheap speed too, and all of them should be going at it early. And look for the 10 also, and look for the 11 off the pace.
Well, a big part of our show and a big reason we're on each and every day and able to bring you these races is because of the sponsorship of Runhappy. Of course, was campaigned by Jim McInvale, known as Mattress Mac to most of us who have known him in the racing industry. Of course, he suffered a mini stroke just the other day. He was in the hospital earlier this week. Just wanted to be cautious and make sure that everything was okay after feeling some tingling in his arms, leg, and face, but it turns out he is okay. We had a chance to visit with him. We'll get to that in just a moment. Of course, for Mattress Mac, who's such a huge part not only of racing, but of the entire community in Houston for all he does giving back. That has always been a part of what he is about.
In 1983, I was doing television commercials. I was desperate. I reached in my pocket, pulled the money out, and said, Gallery Furniture will save you money.
Save you money! Save you money! Saves you money! Save you money! Money!
Well, I needed a job, and I'd been a furniture store salesman in Dallas, and I knew there was a lot of opportunity in Houston in the early 80s, so I came to here, my wife and I did, with $5,000 and a dream. Zany ads we've always done, trying to break through the clutter and get people to notice us. Chuck Norris, real memorable. Everybody loves Chuck. Joe Piscopo, lots of baseball, football players, but the best co-star I ever had was President Bush doing those Bush Clinton tsunami ads, and we raised about $15 million here in Houston for the Bush Clinton tsunami funds. My parents always taught us that the essence of living is giving, and that we all have responsibility for the well-being of the community. So to me, it just comes naturally, and my wife is the same way, and we've been doing the Christmas dinners for many years. We do a 30 house full of furniture giveaway every year, and we encourage people whose friends, neighbors, relatives, people at church, people at school that had a hard time to write us a letter and tell us about their needy situation. So we get thousands of letters. Now it's morphed into emails, of course, but thousands of emails every year about people that need help. Yeah, you know, after Katrina, that people were evacuating New Orleans especially, and we put a sign on the marquee out here that says Louisiana residents sleep here for free, and we had a couple hundred people sleep here for a couple nights, and it turned out fine.
Mattress Mac on the phone a few minutes ago. He is in front of the store right now watching the warehouse burn down.
It was Memorial Day 10 years ago now, and the entire warehouse, $20 million worth of furniture, burned up in about an hour and a half. And it was a tough time. People thought we were going to close. But, you know, tough times never last. Tough people do. So with our support of our great employees and the customers, we had a little small store down in the Gallery area. We opened the next morning and kept going, never looked back. Harvey was devastating for Houston and so many Houstonians. 50 to 70 inches of rain, enough water to fuel Niagara Falls for 21 days straight. 500,000 cars in Harris County, this county, totaled. And so it was just a body blow to all of us. But the best thing about Harvey was it brought us all together. And for a brief moment in time, we didn't worry about right-wing politics or left-wing politics. All we worried about was taking care of people. So people sleeping everywhere on couches, mattresses, and eating on top of the dining room tables. And out of hardships, again, came some really good things, and we learned how to love one another even more. And it was great for all of us in Houston to band together and get through it together. If I have any celebrity, it's from being more of a person, and hopefully people can count on them when they have a tough time, and that's who I want to be known as a person who doesn't look after only themselves, but my wife looks out for other people, and hopefully I do as well.
Well, as Max said in that piece, tough times never last, tough people do. He is as tough as they come. Alex Bregman fan as well, wearing his jersey.
Yeah, I got the Houston Astros jersey on, and he's always been a big fan and does so much for the community in the Houston area. And I've also seen him with a couple jerseys of J.J. Watt as well. So he's just a fan of the whole community. You can see he did some stuff with Clyde Drexler when he was with the Rockets and Akeem Olajuwon and stuff like that. So he's big into sports general, and horse racing is his passion.
Yeah, so important, though. Such an important part of that Houston community. Opened his doors during Hurricane Harvey to help people out, give them a place to stay when a lot of them were washed out of their homes. We had a chance to visit with Mac earlier today to see how he is doing. Mac, I know you're everyone concerned in the city of Houston about your welfare, of course, your racing family as well. Tell us how you're doing, how you're feeling right now.
Greg and Paul, thanks for having me on. I'm doing pretty good. I'm walking down the hallway right now to take a stress test, so I'm going to do a little 3 furlong breeze and see how I'm doing.
So you have your sense of humor a little bit. Matt, you were talking about maybe it was going to be a 6 furlong breeze. Now it's down to a 3 furlong breeze. Hopefully when you pass the stress test, are you going to be able to go home?
I'm to pass the stress test. Doctors look at the results, and if all the boxes are checked, then I'll be able to go home. I can go back to work and make some more money so I can advertise the great Runhappy on NYRA.
Well, we talk about Runhappy so much on this show. We're so excited to see what is going to happen with him at the sales this summer, certainly with his offspring next year. And we have to talk about this a little bit because next year there's this tremendous promotion with a Runhappy. If you win an open company maiden race at Saratoga, $100,000 bonus coming your way. So that should help generate a lot of interest with these young Runhappies.
Yeah, we're real excited about Runhappy. He's a great racehorse, and raced his entire career on hails and water, no drugs, no injections, no Lasix. I think that's very important in today's, racing climate. So he's been very well received by the great breeders, and excited about the breeders and the co-signers showing the Runhappies at Paddock-Tipton in July in Kentucky, and of course Paddock-Tipton in Saratoga in your backyard coming up next month. So should be an exciting time for Runhappy, and we're just very proud to be associated with NYRA and be able to showcase this wonderful horse to the United States and to the entire world.
We're excited as well. We can't thank you enough for the support you've given this show over the past few years. You're not even out of the hospital yet, and you're already talking to us on the phone. What a trooper.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming on. We wish you a speedy recovery and hope everything is okay with you.
Thanks, Greg and Paul. I really enjoy your show. I'm walking into this stress test, and if I get the breeze today, I'll give you a call back.
Sounds good.
Right, we hope so.
Get the bullet tree. Get the bullet breeze. Get the bullet breeze.
That was so generous of him to call us from the hospital. Hopefully he passed that stress test with flying colors, and he's back home hopefully by now. But he's been a tremendous supporter of our show, and what a campaign, what a thrill of a lifetime to have a horse like Runhappy.
No, it's actually a really cool thing. When we talked about him a little bit more, he was talking about, we can't wait to watch his babies run too, and that's going to be a big part of it. To have that, when you run a horse, a once-in-a-lifetime horse like Runhappy, some of the special things that he did, it's going to be really, really cool to watch his offspring run.
A lot of excitement about him as a sire, now standing at Claiborne Farm for $25,000. We're going to take a break in the action. Paul LoDuca leaving us for the afternoon.
Yes.
Richard Migliore will step in for Paulie and join me after a short timeout as we take a look back at some of the greats who have won the Mother Goose. It's coming up this weekend. We'll be back.
This successful son of A.P. Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearling. And this year, his juveniles have sold up to $375,000. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearly manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NYRABets.com.
But as they come to the 16th pole, it's Ruffian drawing away to lead by 12. Ruffian in front by 15. Ruffian in front.
Approaching the 16th pole, it's Savona Dale. She has the lead by 8 now. Eloquent is second. Plankton on the inside in third. Savona Dale in front.
They pass 16th pole. Go for Wand in front by a length, and Charon is second. Go for Wand in front.
And they're coming past the 16th pole. It's all Serena's Song again, with Golden Brie second best today. Serena's Song winning with routine ease here.
Coming down to the final 16th of a mile, her march to greatness continues. Rachel Alexandra wins ease.
That's a look back at some of the greats who have won the Mother Goose over the years. Saw the great Ruffian inducted into the Hall of Fame posthumously in 1976, buried in the infield here at Belmont Park. Greg Wolf alongside Richard Migliore, who won quite a few races here at Belmont Park over the years. Mig, good to have you upstairs with me here. And what a great list of some great champions that we've seen who've won this race.
Yeah, true champions, horses that made their mark and did it with consistency, dominated their respective divisions. And, you know, it's a race with great history. At one time, it was part of the Triple Tiara, the Acorn Mother Goose Coaching Club American Oaks. And I have never seen a bad Mother Goose. They've all been just tremendous additions.
Well, we're looking forward to it coming up this week. And, of course, last year, Midnight Bijou, it was kind of her real coming out party, and now she has just turned into an absolute monster.
Well, she has certainly got, at the moment, control of the older filly and mare division, and I agree with you. I think the Mother Goose last year was her coming out and kind of let it be known she's going to have to be dealt with.
And she had one of the most impressive performances, certainly over Belmont Stakes Day back in 1991. Let's take a look back at what happened in this performance.
This was, to me, one of the greatest Mother Gooses of all time. This was the mother of all gooses, if you will. Light on the outside, Meadow Star on the inside, Jerry Bailey, Corey Nakatani, 2 riders at the height of their power on 2 great fillies, just throwing it down. To this day, when I watch this race, Greg, I get goosebumps.
What a neck and neck, head and head to the wire, all the way to the finish. And could we be in store for another great one coming up this weekend?
Well, you know, to me, that race, too, was a kind of a coming out for Jerry Bailey. That was on the same period of time when he was riding the horse Hansel. He won the Preakness, the Belmont. Then he had Meadow Star. And those races, to me, is what catapulted him to superstardom. Obviously, always talented, but a rider needs the horses to get them there.
Take a look at the field that will line up this weekend. Actually, let's take a look at the 7th here at Belmont coming up. We're 9 minutes away. And we are on the turf sprinting. And Sadie Lady showed speed last time. Do we expect to see her forwardly placed again today?
I would think so, particularly the way the course is playing. Joelle Rosario's ridden this filly twice. Both times she was in front, breaking her maiden on debut, and then last time on the turf. So I would expect her to show that speed again.
Well, she's quick. Obviously, Questek is quick too, but she actually outquicked Questek to the lead last time out. As we take a look here at Jaded Lady to the outside. She'll be making her 2nd start back off the bench for Jeremiah Engelhardt.
And Louis Saez, aggressive rider, got on board last time, had won with her last year at Saratoga, but I expect her to put herself right in the fray too, because Louis Saez puts horses in the game.
Meanwhile, there's a look at Questek. Very often she can be out in front. Now, her record on the turf, it's not something to get too excited about. 1 for 25 lifetime. She is taking some attention at the window, though.
Well, she is. I mean, she was only beaten 3.5 lengths, comes out of the same race as Sadie Lady. So it was within 2 lengths of her. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot. On turf racing is usually a bit more, but you have a few horses coming out of that race that I thought had subtly difficult trips.
I was really intrigued by this 11, but nowhere near the 10-1 morning line, all the way down to 4-1. A lot of people apparently liking what they're seeing with Summer Squeeze and the cutback in distance.
Yeah, it's really interesting too that that she would take this kind of money off the cutback, because usually that doesn't translate as well as most people think.
Here they come for our post parade, and we're going to start off with the remaining half of the entry in here. Catania Rose, who will break 4th from the outside in here and actually will step up in class.
Well, I think the step up in class is what's the concern for me. She does get a break in the weights with a 7-pound apprentice, Benjamin Hernandez, aboard.
Trained by Rodrigo Ubillo, looking for his first winner of the meeting. The rail is going to go to the one we're going to see next, I believe, the 3-horse Tradable. And there is Tradable. Blinkers coming off for John Hurtler.
Blinkers off, and her form leaves something to be desired, I think. She just hasn't really found her form recently.
21-1 here on an overtime Olivia, and she is getting on the turf for the first time.
First time turf, out of a Freud mare, and does have speed. Be interesting to see how she takes to it.
Tom Albertrani, he trains It's a Keeper, had a win against New York bred Maiden Special 2-back. This will be the 2nd time in against winners.
Yeah, if you like Questek at all, you got to like this filly a little bit. They finished noses apart last time, and I thought this filly had a subtly difficult trip.
And here is Questek, 9-2 on Rad Ortiz Jr. for John Toscano Jr.
I think she's going to put herself a bit more in the game. Not badly beaten last time, although the field was bunched up.
Sadie Lady, our favorite at 2-1 for Ono de la Cour. Last start showed speed and backed up to 3rd.
And I think the speed of the race and the filly that has the most to gain by using that speed, particularly the way the course is playing.
4-1 on Jaded Lady. Her 2nd start back, she obviously, I think you would move forward, you would think, off that first back performance.
You would think so, and I think she'll be close. I think she'll be the one to get first run on the favorite, Sadie Lady.
And then outside, Summer Squeeze, Rajiv Mirage for trainer Mark Hennig. This is the one cutting back in distance.
Turning back in distance, it'll be interesting to see if it's just not too sharp for her, the 3/4.
Approaching the 5-minute mark to post for race 7 here at Belmont. Let's head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg. And want to take a look at the 2 horses on the outside, including number 10 in here, Jaded Lady. She's 2nd off of a layoff and gets to turn back to the 6 furlongs from the 7. And I think that's ideal. I thought she ran valiantly, though. She would finish 4th that day, only beaten a length and 3/4. And she just seemed like a horse that needed to, A, shake off the ring rush. She got pretty round up in the paddock that day. And 2, like she needed a race. So she's a little bit more tucked up. Again, she's a round, solid individual, which bodes well for these shorter turf sprints. And she kept it a little more contained. She was definitely on her toes, but wasn't acting up too badly this time around. Now, taking a lot of money, as you hinted at, Greg, is number 11, Summer Squeeze. This gal, physically, I don't necessarily see it. She's big, she's scopy, she looks very much like a broken vow. But
overall, she looks good. She only has a short cut blinker on this time, whereas last time going longer, she had a 3/4 cut, so she was closed in a bit more to try to evoke a little bit more early pace, which they got from her. Today, obviously, they know they're not going to be on the front end with her turning back and opened her up a little bit more as far as those blinkers. Now, I'm surprised that Regime Mirage was brave enough. It's the first time he's getting on her. She's had a different rider every single time because in the morning, she is very naughty. She gets loose about twice a week, if not more. She has a move, I suppose, where she just wheels and drops her rider. Though, I will say that last Friday, her younger sister broke her maiden in Singular Sensation. And two, guys, I actually used to gallop the older brother of this family. And he was a bit difficult to ride, too. That was Summer Place to Be. He was so tough, he would make me cry at least once a week. And I'd ask Tom, my husband, can I please just not ride him anymore? And he said, no, 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 no. You stick with him. You stick with him. And boy, did he pay us off. Guys, he won on Wood Memorial Day. I think this was back in 2015 at 63-1. So I think that was the most satisfactory win I've ever had and involved with. But big fan of this family as well.
Maggie, thank you. 7-2 on Summer Squeeze. Does have that 4 furlong 48-4 move coming in here.
You always like to see a nice work on top of a race. You know, I'm not a big time guy when it comes to work. I like, consistent spacing between works. But once a horse is racing, a lot of times they won't work that often in between races once the trainer feels like they have them dead fit.
Favorite remains Sadie Lady. You mentioned earlier on our show what a tremendous meet this jockey here is having, Joel Rosario. He's just riding with so much confidence right now.
And Joel is just so talented, and when he is riding well, it's because his confidence level's up. And you can just see the way he handles horses, believing he's going to get the best out of them. And, again, there's 3 horses coming out of this race. Obviously the favorite, Sadie Lady, Questec, It's a Keeper. There wasn't a lot separating all of them. I thought It's a Keeper had a difficult trip. I thought she was caught wide pretty much every step of the way. And I think she can improve. And if you go back to It's a Keeper's only, last year, her firm turf race at Belmont, it was her best race by far. Last time the turf was labeled good. Well, we know it's firm today, Greg.
Yeah, no question. As you take a look at our analyst selections in here, all over the place. You're going to go with the 5. So you talked about the upside of It's a Keeper here. This horse just second time in against winners. And with a better trip, maybe it could be a different story.
Better trip, a little bit different turf condition. I think the ground she'll favor. And I'm getting a price. I'm getting value at least. I'm not, I'm taking a shot. I know she's going to have to do some things a little bit better than she has in the past to get it done. But, you get 9-2 on the 6 Questec, and they were noses apart. And I thought this filly had a tougher trip last time.
Meanwhile, Questec, she got out quick to the front by Sadie Lady, the 9-horse today in that last start. Can she kind of reassert herself, and does she have to be aggressive to win this race?
Well, I think she needs to be in the fray, particularly the way the track's playing. Irad Ortiz can be very aggressive, so I wouldn't be surprised to see her much closer.
With more, let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Take a look at a big long shot in here. That actually the longest price on the board. Number 4, Overtime Olivia. She's a first-time turf horse, and look, she has every right to be that kind of price. I don't like the fact that she's still wearing that extension blinker covering her right eye. It just hints at a horse that has some issues. And then too, now she has a 7-pound bug boy on her. But as far as purely from a pedigree standpoint, Rule, not the best influence, but her dam Instant Lady, who was a daughter of Freud, she went 3 for 13 on the turf. So there was definite improvement with that surface change for the dam of Overtime Olivia. In the paddock, she looked as though she could handle it, but like I said, guys, and as good as she looks, I just really am not a fan of that extension blinker, especially when they put it on for the first time and you don't see a result, which was back on June 15th. Craig?
28-1, that one trying the turf for the first time. And one who's on dirt has always been forwardly placed.
And I would assume that she's going to show some speed again. And I agree with Maggie, though. The 7-pound apprentice, and this is no knock on Heman Harkey. It's just the fact that, a horse that can be difficult to handle is tougher on a rider that doesn't have as much experience. That blinker leads you to believe she's difficult to handle. And it's a tricky thing in the starting gate, too, because if you don't have them facing dead down the racetrack where they're looking through the crack in the gate, they'll get themselves left because they don't see the break because their eye is covered. And a horse needs his peripheral vision. Now, this horse needs the blinker probably to keep her straight, but it's tricky to get him out of the gate in good order.
Well, that's a big long shot Maggie was talking about. This is a big long shot, too, Tradable. Go back to Tradable, the beginning of her career. She's only a half length behind Jaded Lady, who's our favorite in this race right now. Her next start on turf, she wins at Saratoga. And then they just really put her in connection in some really tough spots.
Yeah, starting with the matron last year, open company, graded stake, wasn't badly beaten, comes back on the turf at Aqueduct, kind of losing her form, then tried dirt, was even worse. It just seems like her form went so far south. She's going to have to show me she's getting back on the beam.
We'll see. Makes an equipment change today. Blinkers coming off. Third off a layoff. But, yeah, she has yet to kind of refine that form in the first couple of starts of her career on turf. But if she could find that, she did at least fit with these back in her 2-year-old campaign. Maybe just precocious early. 9-5 favorite to 9, Sadie Lady for trainer Ono De La Cour. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing for the call. Race 7 from Belmont. Here's Larry Collmus.
Summer Squeeze coming up. And they're all in line. They're off. And it's Questec who comes out running with Sadie Lady on the outside. Jaded Lady's got some early speed too. Overtime Olivia down toward the inside. And then it's a keeper. Farther out, Summer Squeeze, Tradable, and Catania Rose at the back, 5 lengths from top to bottom. Up the backstretch, and it is Overtime Olivia on the inside, going at it up front with Sadie Lady, while Jaded Lady is just off of them, running in third through a 22.33 quarter. Then Questec on the inside, who's racing 2 lengths off the lead, just ahead of Summer Squeeze. It's a keeper, Catania Rose, and Tradable at the back of the pack. Around the far turn, Sadie Lady the leader. Jaded Lady goes up on the outside. Overtime Olivia tries to cling to them at the rail. Summer Squeeze is 4 wide. Questec behind them. It's a keeper, cuts the corner. Catania Rose and Tradable. They're into the stretch, and it is Sadie Lady. Sadie Lady now set down with a furlong to run. Questec rallies on the inside. Summer Squeeze rallies on the outside. And then it's Jaded Lady, but it's Sadie Lady in front close to home. Sadie Lady, Summer Squeeze. Sadie Lady wins it over Summer Squeeze, then Questec and Jaded Lady.
Sadie Lady, post-time favorite, went down to even money at post-time. Joel Rosario gets the win here in the 7th.
And this was typical Joel Rosario. He was sitting on her with so much confidence, allowing her to run up into the bridle, up underneath him. And you knew turning for home when he hadn't set her down or asked her for anything, she was going to finish the deal today.
Here's another look into the stretch. And really goes off at a short price in here. Finishes 9-11-6. The 10 and 11 giving chase. They just can't make up any ground here in the stretch.
Well, and listen, we just get into the 8th pole, and he is just starting to ask her. So he really nursed her along and didn't set her down until inside the 8th pole. No real, he went underhanded at the whip twice late, but mostly hands and heels. And this is when Joel Rosario is at the height of his powers.
Even money favorite. Getting the job done here in the 7th at Belmont. A little pat from Joel there. Job well done for the daughter of Freud. And his outstanding meet continues for the man who won his 2nd Belmont Stakes on Sir Winston earlier in the meet. Arnaud De La Cour, Dennis Narlinger, and Joel Rosario, your winning connections. Prices will set up the finale when we come back.
A colt by Runhappy out of Addison Run. We bred here at Montfort Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well. Has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Runhappy
standing at Claiborne Farms.
Eclipse champion Blaine was considered by many as the breakout stallion of 2018. His top runners included Grade 1 winner and Eclipse Award finalist Marley's Freedom, plus Grade 1 winner Fault, and graded stakes winners Morale, Beyond Blaine, Miss Kentucky, and Blaine. This year, his 2-year-olds have sold up to $700,000. Outstanding results, outstanding value. Blaine, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, live from Belmont Park. Our show brought to you by America's Best Racing, the go-to site covering the sport and lifestyle. Visit americasbestracing.net today. Sadie Lady, Arnaud De La Cour, and the red-hot Joel Rosario aboard for the win.
Yeah, perfect partnership. He just has so much confidence in the filly, and you could see he builds her confidence. She was good today. She handled it the right way.
Let's head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
And joined by the man you were just talking about, Joel Rosario aboard Sadie Lady today. And Joel, you were on her last time, first start off of a layoff, and she just kind of got nailed that day. But today, you're full of horse.
Yeah, she broke well out of there. Probably not well like she did before the last time. And then, and then I was in the good spot, and the outside I was just sitting and then just think with it, with the track, the fast track today. So it was easy for her.
It seems like on both turf courses, you want to be on the front end.
Yeah, so, it seems like the track is, turf is fast, and then you have to just get your spot and be there.
Joel, the one signature thing I can say about you, and I think everybody would agree, is that you always, don't make that face, that you always seem to know how much horse you have underneath of you. Is that something that you learned, or is that something that just came innately to you?
Well, it's something that you learn, as you ride the horses, and the way they move and the way they, they really go doing, if they're going easy or not. It's something that it's take a time, working with it, and then you can maybe learn that. So I just learn, I guess, that.
Well, you won a classic this year, the Belmont. As we head into Saratoga, what's your goal for up there?
Well, we have, a lot of goals. We still have races that I haven't won, and then just have the opportunity to also win a lot of big races and then stuff like that. So I'm, really happy, and then we're just looking forward for going forward.
Well, you're riding the wave into it, that's for sure. Having a great Belmont meeting. Congratulations here.
Thank you very much.
All right, Joel Rosario and his agent, Ron Anderson, they are a force to be reckoned with, guys.
Yeah, and I would expect that very likely carries over into Saratoga. We always talk about him, Mig, being such a strong finishing rider. What makes him so great?
Well, just the rhythm he gets into with horses. He gets them balanced, they run up into his hands, and he keeps them going forward. The best riders go forward when the race is going forward, not sideways when the race is going forward. And the other thing about it is like you look at his ride in the Belmont, if he did one thing different, he does not win that race. He was as big a part of that win as the horse and trainer.
Here's a look at how this $500,000 carryover has played out in the Pick 6. Started out with Applicator. Discretionary Mark provided the biggest fireworks and knocked a lot of people out at 16-1.
Yeah, and there was a horse that had races that were good enough. You just didn't expect it off the layoff maybe, and certainly Chad Brown's horse was a very deserving favorite there, and he just didn't show up.
It does not get a whole lot easier to close things out. We're going to finish up on the Interturf 6 furlongs New York bred maiden claiming race, and 7-2 is your favorite, and that's a horse who debuted against straight maidens at Penn National coming to New York.
Yeah, but this is a New York bred, so he's getting in with New York breds in the maiden claim race. And first race was good. And, don't knock like people see Penn National, they may dismiss it. The turf racing at Penn National can be very good.
I wasn't dismissing by any means.
Well, not you. I'm just saying in
Don't look
general.
at me.
In general.
Yeah, no, I dropped. That was a straight maiden race. She had a 5-wide trip in that race. And a horse who actually ran behind her that day came back and won by 11 next time out, although that was a race taken off the turf. We're going to take a break. When we return, a look at Breeders' Cup Classic winner Blame and how he's doing in his second career at stud.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NYRABets.com.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With yearlings bringing up to $650,000 and his first crop 2-year-old selling up to $430,000, the sky is the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures, and there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guys gonna do it.
Funny Guys win in the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Runhappy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Runhappy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2 and other networks across the country. Great to have you with us on this Wednesday afternoon. Our show brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Speaking of those 100 years, it was on the 100-year anniversary that Blame, a homebred for Claiborne, brought home a Breeders' Cup Classic. Pretty fitting ending to a tremendous year celebrating that legendary farm. In that tremendous campaign back in 2010, a victory over the previously undefeated Zenyatta in the Classic under the lights. Now at stud, Blame is proving equally productive.
Blame's great. You know, he's, if he were human, he'd be captain of the football or basketball team. He's just got that swagger. He's confident in his abilities. Just a nice guy to be around. He would definitely be the quarterback of the football team.
Blame's a very intelligent horse like Warfront. Very good to be around, good disposition, a good breeding horse. Seems to listen to every order that you give him. A beautiful horse, a beautiful made horse.
Blame had a breakout year in 2018. It was a year that we were kind of always hoping for and anticipating. He had a few Grade 1 winners, a lot of stakes horses, a lot of graded stakes winners. You know, he was standing for $25,000 2 years ago. We cut his fee in half to $12,500, and in order to get a full book. And subsequently he went on to have his breakout year, and now we were able to raise him back up to $30,000. You know, he's finally proven to be the sire that we always hoped he would be.
He's had a great year last year, and he's having another good year this year, and we've just got to keep it going.
You know, I was at Churchill when he won the Breeders' Cup Classic. It's an image in my mind that it'll never go away, the feeling there. And now, you know, to watch his offspring racing and you're pulling for them, it's just awesome. With Blame, you know, come November, I'll be with him 9 years, and I kind of treat him the same way as I treat my kids, you know. That's how I kind of look at him. He's one of my boys.
Well, it was an incredible campaign and so special, I'm sure, for Claiborne to win that race, the Classic, on their 100-year anniversary. You actually faced Blame back in his 3-year-old campaign.
Yeah, in the Super Derby, and he had won a few in a row, and I rode a nice horse for Godolphin named Regal Ransom. Got to go as slow as you could go on the lead, opened up 5 at the 8th pole, had the race won, and I was trying to save something for the Breeders' Cup Classic, so I wrapped up. And just as we came to the wire, all of a sudden there was this shadow on me. Nearly got caught, wrapped up in a $750,000 race, and there was no way he could have made up that much ground. And I knew that day Blame is special because he nearly caught me napping.
He proved it in a tremendous 4-year-old campaign, and that Classic was something special. We're going to take a break of the action. We'll be back. More coming up. Eclipse winner, Jose Ortiz, and Irad said I can do that too. We're going to learn more about these very competitive brothers when we come back.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including multiple stakes winner Autumn Warrior and Sipacan Harbor, winner of the Grade 1 Spinaway Stakes at Saratoga. On the track, Orb continues to add winners. And in the sales rate, his 2-year-olds have sold up to $250,000 in 2019. Classic winner, classic pedigree, Orb, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
I am Ira Ortiz. Jose Ortiz. We are professional jockeys. My brother and I always want to be a jockey, and we both started when I was 16. We started in the jockey school.
And Irad Ortiz Jr. let Summer Revolution roll, and Summer Revolution is pouring it on.
My favorite part of being a jockey is winning.
Sweetgrass and Jose Ortiz coming home strong and coming home a 6-length winner.
The best part of being a jockey is the be around horses. I mean, that's my dream, and you know, I love the sport. When we were kids, we used to watch the Kentucky Derby all the time.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
My brother and I, we are both happy because we are the third pair of brothers that ride the Kentucky Derby, and we are very, very proud of that. We always like to watch replays and try to get better every day and correct some mistakes that we did in the days. My brother and I enjoy being a jockey, but we also love play PlayStation at night. The highlight of my career so far being win the Belmont Stakes.
And Creator, these two come down to the line together. And Irad Ortiz raised his whip in victory.
Jose Ortiz in the Belmont Stakes. His brother won it last year. He did it today. Jose Ortiz.
So who's the better jockey?
So Irad Ortiz wins the Belmont. Jose wins it the next year. Jose wins the Eclipse Award. Irad wins it the next year.
Pretty remarkable. They're just so talented. They love what they do. They love to ride. And I mean, if you had to equate it to other sports, would it be like the Manning brothers in football or the Sedin brothers in hockey? I mean, they're just so talented, and I think if you just box them in exactas, that was the only thing you did. Don't even look at the races. Box the Ortizes in exactas. You'd probably show a profit.
You very well might. They're going to be right next door to each other in the starting gate in this finale coming up. Jose on Gunboat Diplomacy, the 6, and Irad will be on Miss Seb Pat, the 7.
And I can't imagine. I can't even imagine what it's like to look over and see your brother in the gate next to you. And you know you want to beat him. I mean, they play Gallup Racer at night and try to beat each other on video games.
Ultra competitive, and they each look like they have a very big shot to win this last race as well. Who do you prefer of the two that they're riding?
Well, out of the two, I believe I like the 6 Gunboat Diplomacy. I think it's a big drop from Open Maiden Allowance. I mean, New York bred Maiden Allowance to Maiden 40 New York breds. And I think that drop in class has to help the 6 Gunboat Diplomacy.
Well, right now the public agrees with you 3-1 on Jose's mount. Gunboat Diplomacy, blinkers coming off, and that drop in class in for a claiming tag for the first time. Daughter of midshipman. And our post parade coming up. Remember, you can play along, bet all these races with NYRA Bets. Get that $200 new member bonus. Use that promo code LIVE to take advantage and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Here's my first gal, who is coming off a 3rd at 7 furlongs on the turf for Mike Lauer.
Ran okay last time, had a very hot pace to run at that day, turns back an 1/8 of a mile and gets the inside post. Gonna have to work out a trip.
Charming Karis coming out of that same race, set the pace, and then completely checked out of it.
Yeah, and it just looks to me like they tried something. She doesn't really have much form to go on.
So here's the Penn National invader, Fuzi. Joe Bravo now rides for John Pregman Jr.
Yeah, Fuzi ran well. First time Open Maiden Allowance. Now comes in here for Maiden 40 against New York breds.
Yeah, biggest dropper in the field. Seattle Frost, huge long shot, 8 turf tries, has only hit the board once.
Yeah, and I don't see anything that would lead me to believe she's going to improve on that.
Youth Gone Wild seemed to really wake up last time out on the turf, but now a 5-year-old mare who's 0 for 17.
Yeah, and caught a field that was somewhat hungry, and Nazé got it done after, I think that was her 16th start. This could be just a little bit of a tougher race.
Gunboat Diplomacy, another one dropping in for a tag for the first time for Bruce Brown.
And I think this horse has a look. I like the fact that making that drop and you get Jose Ortiz.
Yeah, that's Jose's mount. His brother Irad next door on the 7 here. Blinkers on for David Donk.
Well, you see how she improved with that drop from Maiden Allowance to 40. Nearly got it done, and she's certainly a player.
And we were talking about this next one off air. Sneaky with the 8 here. Funderella drops in class as well for start number 2.
Start number 2, only beaten 6 lengths in a Maiden Allowance. Certainly should improve with the race. A rider I'm not that familiar with.
Yeah, it's Georgina Surgeon. The 10, Daddy's Never Ready. Mike Maker was off for over a year and had some problems in that race. With a clean trip, could be different.
Could be different. You know, certainly you got Javier Castellano, and I got to think that's a positive sign.
First-time starter, Angels in Us. The Dam never tried the turf, and this is her first foal.
But is by Freud. The mare is by Lemon Drop Kid, so there is turf pedigree there. And you get Kendrick Carmouche, who's been bringing in bombs lately.
Yes, he's had a terrific meet. And then here's Honorable Prophet. Gary Contessa showed some tactical speed last time out and then backed up to 5th.
Yeah, and actually, if you think about it, was head-and-head with Charmin Cara. She was beaten 7 lengths. Charmin Cara beaten 15 3/4. So she was, in some ways, the last woman standing.
Let's head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
And I want to take a look at a horse who's facing New York breds for the first time. That's number 3, Fusi, who is also only making her 2nd start of her career. And I thought her debut over at Penn National was promising for the fact that the winner was a gate-to-wire winner, and she was the only horse making up any kind of ground. And in the paddock, she fits quite nicely, as it's not as if they got ambitious and tried a maiden special weight facing New York breds for the first time. They said, hey, we're being aggressive and we're going in with the 40, and she ran a figure last time that makes her incredibly competitive here, and I liked what I saw. She's incredibly fit looking, and her coat is so rich, so hydrated. She was professional here, stepping up to Belmont, and I think she's very dangerous. She's currently 9-2, but I do think the horse to beat is number 6, Gunboat Diplomacy, a horse that I've always had a thing for, especially when she got to try the turf for the first time back at Aqueduct. 7/8 didn't work out well, so she gets that drop in class, 3rd off the bench. She looks so strong. You know, you can just tell she's the one dropping in class here. Physically, she looks a bit better than the rest of her foes, so I think Gunboat Diplomacy will be ultra tough here for trainer Bruce Brown. And then the horse that you guys were talking about, number 8, Funderella, I'll literally read my notes for you. Good hindquarters, right spot as far as conditions, options, but maybe on the cheaper side. So she gets the drop in class. Makes sense. She makes sense to me. Although we're reaching out to a rider who has had limited starts, only 3 for this year, Georgina Surgeon. I know she gallops horses and breezes horses in the morning. She was over at Aqueduct, so she tends to ride for some trainers that were previously based at Aqueduct. So, look, I think Frondarella looks very fit. I like her in this spot. I liked her more in the paddock than I did out in the track, though. She kind of underwhelmed me once she got out here, guys, but taking a lot of money at 6-1.
Yeah, this is an interesting horse and a jockey that had a pretty serious injury. I want to say back in 2012. Took a little while for her to kind of work her way back, but not a lot of opportunities. And we'll see how Georgina Surgeon does here on a horse who is taking money, dropping in class.
Definitely taking money, and I think that's a significant drop in class. Not badly beaten. And again, just because you're not familiar with a rider doesn't mean you can't have confidence. It is horse racing, not jockey racing.
But...
Well, again,
especially in a turf race.
No, but for me, you know, I kind of take a wait and see approach because I have never seen her ride. But for all we know, she could be tremendous.
Yeah. Here's Gunboat Diplomacy. No, I was saying you're not giving yourselves enough credit here, Mig. 2-1 favorite is this one here.
The thing is, though, I've never seen a jockey get off and carry the horse. I mean, you know, a good rider puts his horse in position to win and gives them every opportunity to win and does nothing to inhibit them. This horse finished well here, and I got to think with the drop in class and the addition of Jose Ortiz, there's a lot to like about the favorite.
There is. Certainly the drop's going to make, you would think, a huge difference in here. That first turf start, I mean, there's nothing not to like. What happened next time out? 7 furlongs at Belmont just took a backward step.
It did take a backward step, and you know, honestly, I didn't see the replay of that race. I don't know if she had any trouble. A little further back than I would have anticipated her being, especially coming out of the 6 furlong race. You would think she would have been even more forwardly placed, and she wasn't.
Remains the 2-1 favorite, Gunboat Diplomacy. The 6 horses. We look at the 3. Fuzi comes in from Penn National. This is the one taking, in theory, the biggest drop of anybody in the field. That was an open maiden race, and early on in that race, she was 5 wide.
5 wide, going 5 furlongs. She gets an extra furlong. She should know what she's there for. Joe Bravo gets aboard. I think he excels in turf racing. I like Joe on the turf. I think 9-2 is a very square price on the 3, and that's why I like her.
9-2 on the board, right at her morning line. Should get a nice stalking trip in here. Pace-wise, you know, we talked about a few that want to go to the front. There were a couple that kind of battled early, then completely checked out of it. But Charming Kira, the 2, a big long shot, had done that previously. We talked about on the outside Honorable Prophet. Who do you think is the quick of the quick in here?
Well, I think Honorable Prophet has the ability from the outside to get in the race the right way. I think she'll find herself stalking. You know, it'll be interesting. Did they send Charming Kira again? It certainly didn't work last time. I think it still sits up between those 2 and Seattle Frost. Seattle Frost can show good speed as well with a 7-pound apprentice. To me, the turf trip is in behind the speed, saving ground, covered up. Think a halfback following the fullback through the line. If you're coming from off the pace on the turf, you want to go forward behind live cover. Let them make the gap for you and then find your way out.
There's one of the potential speeds who's not really taking much play at all. You know, inside the 1, we didn't talk a lot about My First Gal. 5-year-old mare, and there she is. She finished behind Miss Seb Pat last time out, but you know, prior to that, you go 3 starts back on turf. That might have been good enough to win here.
May have been good enough to win here. Gets Louis Saez. I would anticipate her being closer, particularly from the rail. We saw early in the day going 6 furlongs in the turf. Louis put a horse that had very little speed right up on the pace. You know, when Discretionary Mark won, he was actually head and head with that horse. A horse that I didn't think had that kind of speed. So Louis can wind one up, especially from the inside. He's probably going to be a little bit closer.
When you're drawn inside and you know that today we've seen speed do well on this turf course, and you have the ability to even more say, I got to be aggressive, I got to jump to the front and try and take it to this field?
I think anytime you're inside, unless the track is playing totally against speed, you have to be aggressive, because what it does in essence is it makes the speeds commit, and then at least it opens the field up. The last thing you want from the inside post is to come out quiet, let the field fold over, everybody's bunched up, and you're in trouble clipping heels running over top of somebody. If you come out running, the true speeds have to commit, and now you have a true pace, and you're not all clumped up, and it gives you options.
See what happens here in the early stages of this race. Still favored, the 6-horse Gunboat Diplomacy at 5-2 on the board. But we mentioned a few runners that could be X factors in this race. The 3 Fusey, the 8 Funderella, maybe even the Mike Maker run of the 10, Daddy's Never Ready.
So she looks really good behind the starting gate, the 10, Daddy's Never Ready. Daughter of Scat Daddy. Well, we only saw a son of Scat Daddy win the Triple Crown last year, Justify. She really looks good. Her coat's great. She looks like she had a good warm-up. I wouldn't be surprised this horse improves.
And she had a lot of trouble in that comeback race. She actually debuted, and it was a long time ago, at Gulfstream against Open Straight Maiden Company down in South Florida. So we'll see with a clean trip if she can have a better finish here this afternoon. The 10-horse at 9-2 on the board. Our favorite, the 6, Gunboat Diplomacy, here in the Nightcap on this Wednesday afternoon with his pick 6 carryover. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call. Here's Larry Collmus.
Daddy's Never Ready moves into the starting gate next. They're followed by Youth Gone Wild. Waiting for Angels and Us and Honorable Prophet. Angels and Us, the first timer goes in, and Fellow Gray, Honorable Prophet up to the outside stall, makes it all in line. They're off. Ms. Seb Pat had the best beginning, and there goes My First Gal. Gun through on the inside to grab the lead. Honorable Prophet is showing some early foot as well. And then it's Charming Cara, Youth Gone Wild, Fusey, and behind them comes Funderella. Break of 2.5 lengths more. And moving between horses is Daddy's Never Ready on the outside of Gunboat Diplomacy. Angels and Us is next. Seattle Frost is the trailer, racing for the far turn. And it is My First Gal, hustled out of there by Luis Saez and loose on the lead. 20-11 that opening quarter mile. Honorable Prophet is second, and then it's Ms. Seb Pat in third, 5 lengths from the front, followed by Youth Gone Wild on the outside of Charming Cara. Fusey is in behind them with 7 lengths to make up, then Gunboat Diplomacy, followed by Daddy's Never Ready and Funderella to the outside, then Seattle Frost and Angels and Us, and they're into the stretch with My First Gal to catch. They've got a furlong to do it. Honorable Prophet is 2.5 lengths behind in second. Ms. Seb Pat is starting to finish well. So too Fusey on the inside with some late speed. It is still My First Gal. Ms. Seb Pat on the outside coming, and these two will decide it, and it will be My First Gal to hold on and win. Ms. Seb Pat was second, Fusey was third, and fourth was Honorable Prophet.
Luis Saez, he was aggressive early, took it to this field from that inside post and kept going.
Man, he bounced this mare out of there. When he made the front the way he did, you knew she was going to be tough. And when he turned for home, he takes this long look back. Like, it wasn't a casual glance. He basically turned around. And that's when you know a guy has a lot of horse. Aggressive riding pays off. Speed is always dangerous, particularly on a very firm turf course. Got to give it to Luis Saez getting this mare to show this kind of speed.
Let's go back to the beginning and see how things started for My First Gal and Saez.
You can see she broke okay with the field, and he just hustled along. And when she made the front, she got very comfortable, very confident, really blew up. And we've seen speed very good on this turf course. I think people have to put that into their handicap. And we're going to take a look here. If he didn't take that look back already, he may have. Well, this is a very, very good performance by both horse and rider here. And if you're handicapped for tomorrow's card, I think you want to give a little bit of a bonus for horses with speed on the turf.
Yeah, it has been the winning move here this afternoon as My First Gal, 0 for 15 coming in, 0 for 6 on turf, but crafty ride from Luis Saez. We're going to take a break. We'll have the prices. We'll tell you how much the pick 6 paid in this big carryover day when we come back on America's Day at the Races.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NYRABets.com.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, plus 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, and international star Shamal Nibras. This year, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Our summer cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. The plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races in the Nightcap on this Wednesday afternoon. My first gal behind a very heads-up ride from Luis Saez, taking advantage of how this turf is playing today, getting the job done.
Inside, firm turf, take no prisoners, get rewarded with a $15.80 payoff.
Trained by Mike Lauer, owned by Penny Lauer, 5-year-old mare, daughter of First Samurai, gets her first win in career start number 16, and there's the pick 6. Payout $22,892 if you happen to come up with that sequence on a carryover day of $500,000.
Not an easy sequence, but well rewarded if you had it.
Not easy at all. Well done if you put that together. That's tremendous handicapping. For Richard Migliore, I am Greg Wolf. Hope you enjoyed our show on Fox Sports 2. We are back 3 to 8:30 tomorrow on MSG Plus, 4:30 to 7, and Fox Sports Prime Ticket, 5 to 8:30. We will see you tomorrow on the 7th. It was Sadie Lady. Joel Rosario's tremendous meet continues as this 3-year-old filly picks up the second win of her career. We'll see you on Twilight Thursday tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone.